wish I cleaned out my Winston Churchill mug. I could have been drinking out of it, even though I think it's for milk.
No, that's for anything. That's for wisdom.
Put juice in
Yeah,
there.
but
Connor, look at that thing.
Yeah, he's got like a lip. What is this little Winston Churchill mug?
Where do you drink out of it?
I don't think it's for beer because his fedora hat, his little hat has like a milk spout.
Oh.
Kinda.
That
Yeah,
doesn't
looks
even
like
look
you
like it
serve
pour
it.
that well.
Yeah.
It's for hot sauce, actually.
Put that in the middle of your kitchen table, Travis. Put fucking...
Urine?
Yeah, sure. Your house.
No, I usually fill it with mayonnaise.
Droop a little mayo out of there.
A little homegrown.
Drip some mayo, leave it out in
A
the
little jazz in
bathroom.
there.
Yeah. Lubricant.
Yeah, is it
Hot
your
jazz.
mayo? Your special mayo?
No, yeah, this is actually meant for orgies, and you fill it up with lubricant, and you just
Oh,
drip
Oh.
Winston Churchill all
Fit-
over.
That's a
if
pocket
anyone
pussy.
needs some, you
Nice.
just grab it from Winston.
Yeah.
Is it ribbed on the inside, Travis?
It's, yeah, Winston was ribbed for everyone's pleasure, really.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's a good way.
Speaking of sex dolls.
How was your week?
Yeah, let's go into Hello, Welcome to What's More. It's the only show that you need to quote on any of your research papers. Yeriaskera. Tom.
Yeah, Oscar.
My name is Mike.
I'm Travis.
I'm Connor.
How was your week?
Oh, God. I can't even fathom it.
It's Thanksgiving week. You don't remember a single thing?
I was drugged on Thanksgiving.
Were you? Were you roofied? You got the old grave roofie?
I had a good time, though. I don't remember, but I had a good time.
That's what you gotta do. You gotta load your fucking turkey up with roofies, and then you can skip all the political chatter and all that shit.
And you can just
that
blame it on
happens
the
after.
tryptophan.
Yeah.
It's all this tryptophan in these turkeys. That's why everyone's passed out.
That's why we all woke up on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your butt always hurts. Remember that.
Tom.
Yes. Thanksgiving. We did it. I don't know, Connor. We did that.
Yeah.
Mike, we missed you.
Yeah, I wasn't invited.
You weren't invited.
I was at
I'm pretty sure you were. I'm pretty sure last time we recorded, we invited you to Thanksgiving.
Well, I was at Boston Market.
Nice.
Did you get that cornbread?
Of course I did.
Okay, that's
They were-
good.
Did they put jalapenos in their cornbread?
I mean, you could request it.
I don't know about that. I'm suspicious.
Yeah, I sat at the table alone, slurped down some gravy.
How many other people were at Boston Market on Thanksgiving?
It was just me.
Just you and the
Me in the
workers?
far corner. Having a Salisbury steak dinner.
Nice. Couldn't even get a turkey out.
They're sold out. They're like, "Here, this is a bad day to get turkey."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're right.
I mean, when you're at Boston Market, you're not family. You're just part of the Commonwealth.
Enough about me. I like to just share the information with my comrades.
I would say that's unfortunate that that's how you spent your Thanksgiving, but I'm also going to couple it with this sentiment. That's boring, Mike.
Yeah.
We did exciting
My
stuff.
life is boring.
Yeah. We smoked and drank.
Mm-hmm.
I had a drink. I'm a real man again.
Yeah.
I felt
Really?
like myself the next day.
Tom drank
Hungover.
brown.
Well,
Not just brown gravy.
I was hydrated the next day. I was ready to go.
Poor guy.
I was peeing
Oh,
normally.
They should make spiked gravy. What the hell's wrong with this world?
Oh, you're right. That's a good idea.
How has America
Yeah.
not figured that out yet?
Damn.
Shh, don't tell anyone. Travis, speaking of spiked gravy, tell us, how was your week?
Everyone hears about Thanksgiving. I'm going to tell you some highs and lows of just a regular week, because I had a very eventful week. First of all, driving along, I was going to go to Cabela's to get myself a fishing rod.
Cool.
And I was really early in the morning because I dropped my girlfriend off at work. Ran over a nice little spike, what they call nails.
Oh.
And I'll drive along the highway, and all of a sudden, I could just watch the air deflating out of my tire on my console. I'm like, oh, I'm going to make it there. And then I got stuck at the car place for 4 hours.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tough.
Yeah.
well,
That was the low. The high is I purchased, I'm a fragrance man now. I'm all about good smells.
yeah.
So I
Spiked
purchased
gravy.
I purchased a new fragrance that I'm waiting to get in the mail. It's called the Marquis de Sade.
Ooh.
And it's by it's House de Libre Orange or something.
Does it smell like blood drying on walls or something?
Yeah.
So no, it doesn't. But I wasn't brave enough. But I think I will go back and get it. They have a scent called magnificent secretions, and apparently that cologne just smells like semen, blood, and sweat. And it's really controversial in the fragrance world because they're like, why the fuck would you want to smell like that? But if you want to smell like a cheap whore,
you can walk around smelling like that just by yourself.
Yeah.
Just don't wear deodorant.
I want to smell like a really expensive leather coat. I don't want to smell like... I want to smell like I'm about to shoot a load. Not that I just got a load shot on me, okay?
Well, then you won't like the $100 bottle of Secretions Magnifique.
No, I'd rather be covered in a $2 bottle of kiwi strawberry Snapple.
But maybe, I don't know, maybe that'll be like a Patreon thing. I'll cover myself in Secretions Magnifique.
You'll still be the best smelling guy in Portland.
It's very true.
Why people in Portland smell bad?
Well, they're all homeless. Travis is one of the 7 people that lives in an apartment legally.
Well, how about that?
Yeah,
Travis?
everything else
Is an art gallery.
Oh, damn.
No houses.
It's either an art gallery or a weed distributor.
Dispensary. I like that.
Yeah, dispensary. That's the word.
But that's just the culture. Because they also invite people to live in these homes for free, and they neglect. They say housing is racist. They say it's bigoted. It's homophobic, which is somewhat true.
What, you come to my house?
Just being in a house.
I mean, if it's my house, my rules.
Well, you could you could be as much of those things as you like.
Well,
or as little.
Dickhead, you'd be like, I'll just let the seat up when you're at the bathroom or something. Don't piss on the seat.
Mike's
No,
one
my
rule.
house. My house.
Go on, keep it nice.
My house, my rules. You come to my house, you're gay.
Hey, respect.
I can respect it.
Leave your heterosexuality at the door.
Yeah.
And that's your house. That's the house of spiked gravy. That's the house that you built. The stuffing of the week. Now,
Hold on. I think the more I get into this fragrance, maybe I should start a line in my signature scent, House de Travis, will be spiked gravy.
I always want to smell like that.
Yeah, right? A little boozy notes, like as the high notes, and then you got the bass notes of like just beef broth.
Yeah, I just want to smell like meat.
we got to team up with some heavy hitters like Boston Market.
Yeah.
And
Axe body spray, hit us up.
Axe body spray and Boston Market crossover edition.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Ford, Ralph Lauren, come on, hit me up. I'm gonna make some sense for you, dog.
We got some new shit. 2022,
Yeah.
baby. Fuck 21.
All right, let's talk about old stuff. It's a history show, God damn it.
One more thing about your week. Don't blow school bus stop signs. I learned the hard way that one.
You get pulled over?
No, they send you a ticket in the mail like 2 weeks later. It's like $250.
Yeah, you're going to kill a kid.
This dude was bullshitting with this fucking
Did you
parent.
pull around him, or were you on the other side? Like, were you going?
I was behind him, and I was like, "There's no fucking kids." Like, come on,
Mike, terrible idea.
And
There
the
was no
sign was
kids.
out?
Yeah, sign was like it was out, but like he was bullshitting with
dude.
the fucking parent. I'm like, yo, fuck it, I'm late for work.
You don't get a ticket for honking and yelling.
That's true.
So you got to start there.
There's kids on the bus. I don't know. There's early in the morning.
cares?
I'll wake them
They'll
up.
get a kick out of it.
Yeah, you teach them some words they're not going to show them in school.
See, my passive aggressiveness got me a fucking $250 ticket.
Mike, no, you're
That's
fucked
aggressiveness.
because you made my mother do more work, my aging mother, because she works for a school bus company. It was probably one of her school buses.
I was trying to hit a kid
Jake.
on the way to work. I was like, I'm gonna kill one of these fuckers today.
I'm just saving you a lot of pain, kid.
Yeah, Mike, there's a lot easier way to kill kids.
I thought I was in the clear. I was like, this fucking joke. I'm going around this bitch.
All right. Well, speaking of whatever,
Joke's
something,
on me.
it's time to continue on with the show.
Cut that out, Zoic.
People are here for the listeners. The listeners.
People
the history.
are
Here for the knowledge.
They're here for themselves.
I have a
because
history paper
They're
due.
as self-indulgent as we are. We
Yeah.
like the sound of our own voices, don't
I
we?
hate the sound of my fucking voice.
Nice.
I actually want to change my voice permanently.
I'm gonna do that. I'm
I wanna
getting
sound-
tonsils out, I'm getting my nose done.
What are you gonna sound
Yeah.
like? You get to pick and choose who you want to sound like?
I'm gonna sound like Joan Rivers.
Why?
Dude,
It'd be
we
awesome.
have to.
Just gonna say,
You want to sound
We-
like Tay Zonde. You want to sound like Chocolate Rain,
Yeah,
Tom.
he's-
We have to place bets because I mean I went through the same procedure of getting my tonsils removed like 2 episodes into the show and my voice sounds completely different. Now we're gonna have a completely different Tom.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I totally forgot about that. That's true. You were a lot different. You changed, Travis.
Okay, so this week on the show, the history part of the show. Travis, please take us to the past.
Tonight we are returning to the motherland, the land of bears hula hooping, preteens playing with low-grade explosives and vodka. Lots and lots of vodka. It's Mother Russia, sukas.
Oh,
Yeah.
dope.
All right, cool. Who we roasting? Betty Boop?
We're going to blast off into the Soviet Union with the granddaddy, V.I. Lenin. Not John.
His uncle.
Yeah, his uncle. Uncle Vladimir.
Oh,
No one wants to talk
Vlad
about that.
Lenin.
Yeah, Vlad. What does the I stand for?
I'll tell you, that's not his real name.
Ilyich.
By the way.
Lentils.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You gonna spoil it? It's not his real name.
His real name was Mike Regan.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It's leader of the fucking, that shit.
All that shit.
And then he changed it to Yoko Ono.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm going Asian.
Paul is dead.
And I killed him in a gulag.
Yeah.
Isn't it Vladimir Lenin? He's like the protege of Karl Marx, or he is like the wet dream of Karl Marx.
I mean, he would like to think that, but
Yeah.
Like
we'll
when
find
like
out
he
that
would,
that's-
yeah.
That's like the meme where it's like you would ask that question, and then it's like the two people responding, and Vladimir Lenin is saying yes, and Marx is saying no.
Oh, okay.
The Star Trek one.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I'm wrong.
So I think it's funny because whenever you talk to like a socialist, myself included, Lenin is sort of seen as like
An icon,
So
they're like
like the
you
Che
know,
Guevara
Lenin-
T-shirt type shit
Yeah.
of socialism.
Lenin might have done some fucked up shit here and there, but he's the good guy of the revolution. Nothing like Stalin. Stalin's such an asshole.
awesome. Yeah, if you really set the bar that low with Stalin, you could forgive the Lenin stuff.
Yeah. Everything,
Yeah,
everything good it turns to bad eventually.
I mean, hey, even at one point, Stalin was Uncle Joe because the bar was set at Hitler.
That's true.
That's
Oh
true.
yeah.
This dude's
Yeah,
good.
we were buddy.
We're starting off good then.
Yeah.
I'll pretend
He's a good
you're not
guy.
anything, and I'm a fan now. That may
He's
change.
like Hitler.
Yeah,
guy.
this research really kind of ruined my whole perception of Lenin, and I came to the following 3 conclusions. I'm going to set this up right off the bat because this is going to be a 2-part episode. We're going to deal with 3 revolutions and like tons of fucking shit. This is one of the most complicated, I think, revolutions in the course of history. Mm-hmm. So these are my 3 conclusions: is that Lenin did more damage in the name of socialism and the teachings of Karl Marx than any other figure in the 20th century. That's number 1. Something I also didn't know, that there were other level-headed socialists at the time that weren't the Bolsheviks that could have created a successful successful socialist state, and Lenin was an unprincipled opportunist that was an outlier and stole the revolution.
But he had beautiful skin.
Not so much.
And
It's
a
like-
mustache.
Well, you can still go see it.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah,
that's
you
what
can.
I'm
You
getting
can
at.
go check out his skin and decide for yourself, is it good?
It's
I
L'Oreal
had no-
branded. They slapped a sticker on it.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's hot.
Yeah. That was part of
And-
Perestroika.
And this is the biggest
Communism.
thing that I learned, was that Russia is probably one of the worst places to try to start a socialist revolution, as they were all the human rights and violent drunks were there before the USSR and are there after the USSR. Like, secret police is just like a normal thing in Russia.
Yeah, those people have they've had the pride beaten out of them before they're in their second trimester of life.
Yeah.
They come out just like empty husks of people.
Yes.
And the people who leave there and come here, they go, "Oh, it's better." This is I could relax a little bit. Although genetically, I'm inclined to never relax.
Yeah, so whenever you run into someone that's like, dude, communism doesn't work, just look at Russia. Like, look how they got fought. Like, no, Russia doesn't work.
Stop.
Yeah. Russia as a concept.
Yeah.
Does not work.
Communism might not work, but that's the bad example,
Yeah.
is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
China's still around. They're communist-ish.
Something's working.
I thought they were a People's Republic.
Well, you get a little tricky with how you start
I
naming
like those
things.
words.
Cuba's
Wordplay.
still going around.
Yeah, Cuba's there. They're more literate than we are. And China has more money.
Vietnam's got a roaring tourist industry. They're communist.
Well, here
love
we
you
are.
long
There's
time.
the proof. Cuba and Vietnam.
The
Proof
places
that
you're trying to be.
communism works.
I love Vietnamese food. I'll say that.
It's true.
Guys,
Great food.
Yeah.
communism in Cuba took Ricky Ricardo away from us in spirit.
But it also
What's
gave
that?
us great baseball players.
Yeah.
Well, it did.
Yeah.
Good point.
That's Ricky Martin. Sorry.
That's Ricky Martin.
That's
And we get
different.
really funny stories of how incompetent the CIA is because
Yeah.
of Cuba.
I love
Yeah,
a Cuban sandwich. Though.
They really
It's just
show
good.
off how
a good sandwich.
incompetent the CIA is at their job.
A lot of failed assassination attempts.
Yeah.
If that's what you're getting at. Yeah.
Kennedy fucked up because we could have been living in the Fallout universe if things didn't go according to plan.
Man,
fucking
imagine
ding-dongs.
swing music never went away.
Yeah.
Island boys doing swing.
Yeah.
Island boy, do up, do
Damn it.
All right.
Okay, so another little thing I need to mention before we start all this series of Lenin and all this shit, Soviet Union, is that although his life unfolded over 100 years ago, the research and documents of Lenin's life are fairly fresh because they only surfaced in the early 90s after the fall of the Soviet Union. Because Stalin did his best to kind of redefine what Lenin was and like lift him up to this like godly figure, and he destroyed or locked up a lot of the history of Lenin. So if you kind of look at a lot of if you go earlier than the 90s, you'll see a much different perspective of what Lenin's life was like. A lot of botched numbers, you know what I mean?
Oh.
Like there's tons of people at my inauguration, you know, like loads of them.
Of course.
So, there is a lot to cover here. And again, this is Europe. It's not America. America had one revolution. Done. Russia has 3, 4, I don't know, million revolutions. So, let's jump into this egghead of a man, Vladimir Ilyich Lenin.
You're bopping your head around a lot, Travis. You got a lot of-
So right off the bat, this champion of the working class did not come from the working class. Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov was born April 22nd, 1870. That's right, his name is not Lenin. That was one of hundreds of his aliases that he used, and this one just stuck. But I'm just going to call him Vlad or Lenin because that's what we know him as.
Sure.
So the Ulyanovs were a fairly well-off middle-class family in Stemsbrisk, like a brisk, Stembrisk. Daddy, Illa, was not really important to the story because he dies when Lenin's 15 from a brain hemorrhage. The only thing about him, I will say, is that he came from a serf family and worked his way up into the middle class. And he also had Asian genetics, which is something that we did
man.
not know.
So
that
they like,
Lenin
live on
was
the
actually
beach,
Asian.
hit the waves every morning, or
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
where's
that's kind
the-
of surfing Asians.
where's that? Where's that ride's coming in? Where's the Black Sea?
They're
Can't hit
related
big
to the guy
waves?
Tito from Rocket Power.
Yeah, Lenin's actually related to The Rock because all Asians are related to
dope.
The Rock somehow.
He probably had dope tats.
Wait, where in the giant place that is Russia was this?
So it's Simbrisk, which is, I believe, that's around modern day Kazakhstan.
Ah, okay.
So
Beautiful
like
place.
Out in the
it-
steppe.
Yeah, he's out there. They're far away from the capital at the time was St. Petersburg, far away from the capital. Now, Lenin's mom, on the other hand, her name was Maria Alexandrova Blank, which was her last name, Maria Andresanova Blank. She was born to a very well-off Jewish family in the Russian capital of St. Petersburg.
Happy Hanukkah, everyone.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it going on right now?
Yeah, it just started tonight. I ate a whole live fish tonight for dinner.
Damn.
You know,
It was
a couple of
alive?
those challah.
Yeah, I had a challah.
Still squeaming.
Still in my gut, dude. Kicking around.
Some
That's
gefilte.
dope.
Yeah,
That's
those
humane
fish
of you.
legs. Very well. Yeah, it's a bonding thing we do. Legally.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Lenin didn't have the the perks of having that Jewish cuisine, that jellied fish and shit like that. I mean, he probably did because he was Russian, but he did not know that he had Jewish heritage because his mom tried to like cover that shit up as much as possible. And they only found out, interestingly enough, the Lenin family only found out after Lenin died, and Lenin's sister went to Stalin and was like, yo, I found this Ancestry.com paperwork that says we're Jewish. And he's like, give me that. And he like tucked it away in the Kremlin somewhere so no one could see it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So back to his mom. Her father was a physician to the royal family, and it's said that Maria could have possibly let her caviar jar get smashed by soon-to-be Tsar Alexander III.
Ooh.
And the reason why she was out in the boonies was because she got pregnant with Lenin's oldest brother and had to leave St. Petersburg. She moved out to the boonies to Simbrisk and married this fucking teacher just so they had to deal with, like, Alexander III's bastard.
Wow.
What's his older brother's name? Lemon?
Don Lemon.
Don Lemon.
No, his older brother's name is Sasha.
Okay.
I like that.
A nice little
name.
Sasha Ulyanov.
Yeah, I think actually his real name was Alexander. She named him after possible daddy, but everyone called him Sasha.
All right.
So not really trying to hide from the rumors, it seems like.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
All the rumors you
I
heard were
never
true.
met him. Nor was parked by, but he was a good guy.
So Sasha was like the dream child of their family. Now, little Lenin, as I mentioned, he was born in 1870. So he was a special little kid. Right off the bat, people were like, why his head so big? He's top heavy. This one's like, it's DK mode, dude. Someone put DK mode on this kid. And Lenin was just constantly bashing his dome on things. He actually had a hard time lifting his head off the ground. So yeah, people right off the bat, this kid is top heavy. His parents thought that he was a big old R.
All right.
Big old little R-tard.
Short for Elmer Fudd.
He was special.
Another thing that kind of set him apart was that he was very sickly. He was an asshole. He spoke with a lisp, and he had very bad temper tantrums. I mean, a lot of kids have bad temper tantrums, but one of the things about Stalin is those temper tantrums, or Lenin, is that he always had temper tantrums.
But you know, in Russia, like when a kid throws temper tantrums all the time, they think he's going to be a strong kid. Like, oh yeah, this boy is going to be very strong when he grows up. Takes no
Fatherly
bullshit
spirit.
from any woman's.
Yeah.
He's always screaming at me. I am such a good mother, and he's still screaming
You
at
stay
me.
warm and cold.
Yeah.
I love
His
my
mother
boy.
was like, oh, look at little babushka kid. And when he had these temper tantrums, he would just fall to the ground and slam his big old dome on the floor. It's like, thong, thong.
Like, what was it? Ivan the Terrible.
Yeah.
Got from that.
Yeah, he was a head slammer, too.
Yeah. He loved it.
Now, interestingly enough, Lenin's childhood friend was this kid named Alexander Kerensky, and he is going to be a very important player later in this episode. But it's kind of weird that these two got together, and Lenin used to bully this kid, Kerensky. He used to tell him the story about the gray wolf that ate sheep or something. I don't know, some weird fucking Russian story. Like, little boy, when you go to sleep, big Russian wolf eats sheep. He's like, no, not my sheep.
Not that story again.
Not the wolf story. Anything
Yeah.
but the wolf story.
I hate that story. My God. What a bad story. It really feels like a waste of time. A terror of the time.
Now, even though his parents were like, this kid might be a little bit mentally handicapped, Lenin excelled in school. He didn't have many friends. He was very bookish. His
Nerd.
favorite activities were playing chess, and his favorite... Can you guys guess what his favorite book was? Keep in mind, this is like the probably 1880s.
Pride and Prejudice.
Was it a Russian author?
I'll give you a hint. It's American.
Oh,
Oh, Huckleberry Finn.
Nope, Uncle Tom's Cabin.
I was
Lenin-
thinking just a sheet of graph paper.
No, Little Lenin was a Uncle Tom's Cabin stan. He's like, oh, hell yeah, I'm Team Uncle Tom.
I love Harriet Beecher Stowe.
Her brother, by the way, roasted that idiot.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
So the star child, as I mentioned, was the older brother, Alexander, or Sasha. He was smart, more attractive, more outgoing. He has some Tsar blood pumping through his veins, probably.
He always had the freshest Adidas tracksuits.
Yeah, he had the lowest Slav squat.
Hey, little brother, why don't you get yourself some Adidas like a real man instead of your stupid K-Swiss, you dumbass.
Yours has 4 lines.
That did not catch on, man. Get a grip.
Lenin was always trying to get his mother's attention away from Sasha because Sasha was this superstar kid. Sasha ends up getting accepted to the St. Petersburg University, which is one of the best in the country. It's in the capital, right? And right off the bat, he gets there and he's indoctrinated into the liberal, subversive teachings of Karl Marx and the anti-monarchical thought.
Classic woke college shit.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
They're just
Yeah,
the
right?
same everywhere you
Yeah,
go.
doesn't matter where you are.
Just a bunch of purple-haired ninnies screaming about things that we don't even really understand.
That's why I didn't go to college.
That's why you're smart, Mike.
Exactly. Save money.
You got to save that bean on your head, man.
Yeah.
Don't let it
They're coming,
get
they're coming
spoiled
to
like
take it.
Sasha here.
Sasha, get away from my fucking beans.
He's going to argue about, say things like proletariat.
I can't even spell that.
Yeah, you're better
It's
for
a
it.
hard one. It's a
I don't
tough
even
one.
need to
You
because
can
you know
spell
why?
Boston Market.
I could spell that. You know why? Because I got a phone with autocorrect.
Bingo.
Thank
Dude,
you, God.
I have to say I had to write bourgeoisie a lot, and the autocorrect could not even save it.
Bourgeoisie.
You should have just wrote bougie each time.
Yeah, bougie.
I wrote fancy.
Because it doesn't capture the
I wrote
middle class
just
rot
fancy.
of the bourgeoisie.
The bourgeois.
Just write, nice things.
God.
Quotation marks.
Man, I can't stop thinking about that wolf story.
Yeah.
It's taking up so much of my head.
Are you worried for your sheep?
Yeah. Yeah, it's creeping up on me. It was a joke before. Now I'm sweating.
Tom's going to be waking up in the middle of the night screaming. Gab's like, what's wrong? What's wrong?
My sheep! My fucking sheep!
So Sasha and all of his libtard friends, they weren't like these internet boys today. They're like, I don't think this is a safe space. No, they were like, they hatched a plan to assassinate Tsar Alexander III, who could have possibly been Sasha's dad.
I'm going to kill my dad.
I hate my dad. Isn't that a Russian thing? You always hate your dad?
I thought that
No,
was a
I thought
Scottish
you like
thing.
a pride.
Oh, it is a Scottish thing.
I thought you're supposed
Right.
to love your dad in Russia. You're like, oh, this is my daddy. He's like my fucking.
Or do they hate their dads
pride.
because of the rivalry with Germany?
Yeah.
Fatherland.
Mother
love the
Russia.
motherland.
They love their mothers, hate their
They
fathers.
chose sides in the divorce.
What's a good Russian cuisine?
Caviar.
vodka.
Yeah.
Caviar?
Probably potatoes. They probably make good potatoes.
Potatoes.
Oh, they make this really good jellied fish. That
Oh,
I've had
borscht.
one time.
They do the borscht.
Borscht is delicious if you like beets.
If you
There's
like
this-
pretending that you're shitting blood.
Yeah.
Which is my favorite part about beets.
There's this place in Portland that does. There's a lot of Russians here, surprisingly, and it's called From Russia with Love, and they make this like quiche. These quiche things, they're like
like they make
giant
good
hot
soup.
pockets. They're so
sounds
fucking
nice.
good.
Knish.
Yeah, a knish, not a quiche.
Right,
Knish. Oh, those ones with like fucking potatoes and shit inside them.
Yeah,
you get,
pierogies and shit.
I thought it was Polish.
Pierogies are Polish, but
Yeah.
they probably make them in Russia.
They definitely make it in Russia.
Well,
Yeah.
they probably
It's
they
probably
took,
like their own
yeah.
little flavor of pierogi.
It's all just white and red foods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Classics.
Sausages. All right.
White
Probably
versus
eat
red.
some reindeer. They probably make
we're gonna
reindeer.
Ooh, I did listen to something about Russian people like riding reindeers and shit, and like there's reindeer cults out there.
Reindeer's
yeah.
tasty.
So Sasha and his friends were like, "We're gonna blow up my dad, yeah!"
Yeah,
And Sasha was in charge of making the bombs in this assassination. Like, dude, I'm smart. I know how to like mix these chemicals together real good. Unfortunately, Sasha's plot was exposed. All of the students were arrested, And Sasha's mom, Maria, begged the officials to go easy on his son because she still had some weird connections in St. Petersburg because of the whole fucking banging and shit.
Right.
And, the officials offered Sasha a plea bargain, like, whatever, you just, like, tell us where you got this, like, subversive Marx books, comic books you bought, and, we'll let you go easy. You'll just do some hard time. But he refused. And he was sentenced to being hanged by death. Hanged until death.
It usually ends in death, that one.
Yeah. Hanged until death in May of 1886.
So he's 16?
No, this is an older brother, so probably
His older
early
brother.
20s.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, his older brother was like 5 years older than him
So
or so.
he's like 20.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's one guy down.
That's teen angst right there.
Yeah. Trying
So he was
to kill
hanged?
his Tsar dad.
He was hanged?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck.
yeah.
He actually went through with it? That's crazy. I thought it was like
Him
some
and-
trickery.
Him and all of his libtard friends were all hanged to death.
That's what you call poning the libs.
Yeah.
I want to know how like someone found out back then. Like that's pretty. I
Someone
guess someone
ratted.
snitched on him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we will
Can't
talk
trust
about,
anyone.
As I mentioned, we're going to get deep into the secret police of Russia, which
KGB?
definitely, it wasn't the KGB,
The
but they had
predecessors.
their
Before them?
own. Yeah, they had their own secret police. The Tsar had one.
That's such a cool title though. Like I'm part of the secret police.
Yeah. Well, not anymore.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a secret.
Now we know.
Now you're in the
Now we're the police.
Congratulations.
I'm sure
Yeah.
you kind of alluded to this already, but I think I read somewhere that someone
Better
described
watch out.
Russia isn't a state that has a secret police. It's a secret police with a state.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like-
the one like uniting factor through. I mean, you go from a monarchy to socialist. I wouldn't call them communist. To a socialist country, and then to a hyper capitalist country. All of them have had the same secret police.
Yeah.
Putin was part of the KGB.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he's probably killed a few people.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. He's a
Piano
gangster.
wire.
He's a G. Unfortunately, it's pretty scary, kind of.
Lenin often cited that his brother's execution was the deciding factor that pushed him to become a revolutionary. And there's also this really stupid story about another reason why he became the hero of the working class was apparently him and his big head were out on a river, and the ice broke, and the son of a lowly brewmaster came and saved his life. He pulled his big old head out of that lake, and
He probably
he's
thought
like,
it was an apple. Trying to bob for it.
I was real hungry.
Oh, I like potato. Well, bobbing for potatoes. That's what they do over there.
yeah. So because this little brewmaster's kid saved his life, he owed his life to the working class.
Wow.
I mean, I'll buy it.
I mean,
Wait, didn't Stalin have a similar story where he got rescued in the ice? What is it with like Russian rulers getting saved?
I
by
think it's like
cold
1
there.
in 3 Russian citizens has fallen through the ice at some point.
Yeah, I don't really think that it's Russian rulers. Like
It's
I've
just
seen
Russian-
videos of
yeah.
these people, like these Russian guys, like lighting off like Macy's Day or like fucking Macy's New Year's Eve fireworks, like on like lakes that they're standing on. They're like, "This is good." Yes,
They're not wrong. It's exciting. It's good
point
to
it
be
down,
alive.
point it down
sometimes.
into the lake.
Yeah.
So either way, Lenin was heading down the path of the dirty, despicable socialist.
what
Yeah.
was that, Travis?
Who wants workers' rights?
Not me.
I hate
Not me.
workers' rights.
Fuck that shit.
I would do anything to escape the working class.
Because I got workers' rights. I got to put up with other people's bullshit. I fucking hate that
You
shit.
don't want to work.
I don't want to work
You
anymore.
want to be a communist.
Yeah.
I want to get paid to hang out.
Well,
should
join
be
the
a Twitch
revolution,
streamer.
brother.
That's called Twitch
Join me,
streaming.
comrade.
Join us, comrade.
Yeah.
I should become a streamer. I just sit there in my fucking tidy whities picking my ass playing fucking Call of Duty.
You got,
Yeah, dude.
you got one cam on your face, one cam on picking wedgies.
On my fucking
Yeah.
ball sack.
That'd be awesome.
Just
That'd be
ball
really
sack
great.
cam.
I
So
support this.
Lenin knuckled down in school despite the fact that his family had been shunned by the rest of their peers because, their kid was executed for Marxism.
Oh, there's
and shit
that
like
family with
Trying to
the
blow
communist kid.
Yeah. Trying to blow up the Tsar. But regardless, Lenin Lenin graduated top of his class and was accepted to the Kazan University in 1887.
Even though his brother died, he managed to go to school.
Yeah.
That's the
And be a smarty pants.
Yeah, the complex
Yeah.
story arc so far.
Yeah.
Still
Yes.
feels like he's a big fucking nerd so far.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, he's a big nerd, but when he goes to college, all the people in college are like, yo, dude, are you like Sasha's brother? Like, we read about that in the news. You're pretty fucking cool, dude. You got a big
That
head.
was dope.
Oh,
Got a
damn.
huge
Yeah.
head.
Yeah, your brother got smoked, bro. You're dope.
Yeah, your
It's pretty fucking sick.
brother didn't have as big of a head, so you must have more knowledge up in that brain. You know what I'm saying?
Why do you keep talking about Uncle Tom's Cabin?
It's my favorite book.
Hey, man. Smoke some weed, fucking Lenin.
Yeah, so no
Cut that out.
longer,
All right, we went with
Yeah.
that one.
Leaving it in. Tom's
Fuck.
coming tonight.
no longer
Tom,
was
cut that
Lenin.
shit out.
Hey, Travis is trying to talk.
Travis, continue.
No longer was Lenin like that know-it-all kid. I mean, he kind of was, but like he wasn't known as the kid that bangs his head on the floor and screams, even though he still did that. He was
I do
known
that.
as the cool kid because he was like the kid that was the brother to the anti-royalist martyr Sasha.
That socialist kid with all the lumps on his head.
Yeah.
So cool. I
He's
wonder if
dope.
he dates women. I'm going to ask him out.
Oh, he does. So Lenin had to fill those shoes. So he got to work. He started to read as much Marx, Engels, and other leftist material that he could get his hands on. Now, let's hold on for a second and kind of talk about the state of Russia at the time. Because these books that he was reading were illegal. They
Taboo.
were subversive material that was being illegally brought into the country, like cocainous.
I got some good shit. I got some Karl Marx, bro. You want to see this shit? Some dope shit.
Will it make my hair look like his?
Yeah.
Ooh.
God. Yeah.
Shit, look at this. Look at the third page, man. Check that shit out, bro. Shit's dope.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Now, Russia had always been Europe's like ass backwards idiot child. So in the 19th and early 20th centuries, it struggled to keep up with the level of industrialization that the rest of the modern world had transformed into. Now, most of the blame lies in the incredibly shitty monarchy, the Romanovs. Now, we're probably going to do we'll do a whole another episode on the Romanovs from like a different perspective of this whole revolution. Because as I mentioned, it's like super
Nikki would
complicated.
be a good one.
Yeah.
He'd
yeah.
be a good one.
Question:
Yeah.
Does Lenin ever cross paths with Rasputin? They were cross swords.
He definitely knew of them.
They never.
Yeah,
did,
he
Time
definitely-
period, but probably never talked to each other.
He definitely knew of him and probably was like that cocksucker, like fuck this guy.
That big dick
Charlatan.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
He had a big dick, right? You guys roasting him. He had a big dick.
No,
Yeah,
I actually re-listened to that episode for this episode, and apparently he had a normal size but pale dick. We have the primary
like mine.
source described it.
But pale.
Which,
Yeah.
and the source, the guy who wrote that was actually a giant black dude. So
give him
by
props.
comparison, it probably was a pretty big dick.
No, the source
respect.
they were in
It was
a
meaty.
I think it was
like-
even funnier. It was like a guy in a bathhouse who was like, I looked over at Rasputin's dick and it didn't age and get dark like normal men did. It just stayed pale like a baby's dick.
He's kept scraping it off on the vagina
Mine's
walls
pale.
of the royal women.
Hey, you guys, your dicks are fucking tan.
Well,
you
when
know that?
when you reach
mine's-
like 60 years old, you're gonna get that weird darkened grizzled war veteran dick. You
Mine
know
looks
what
like
I mean?
milk. You fucking.
Yours doesn't have liver spots. Tell a story.
The
Yeah.
lower part of my body has never seen the sun ever.
Like, you gotta go naked sunbathing, man.
I've never done that. I just never seen the sun, like the light of day.
Head out to your favorite Gilgo beach, get naked.
I feel kind of bad sometimes, like when I'm girls see me naked. I'm like, sorry for my appearance.
Dude, you gotta hit the tanning bed. Just go for
But,
5 minutes. Get a little zip
Nah,
down there.
you don't like me
Yeah.
for who I am. It ain't worth it.
You want
You don't like my milk?
You grew up in the South Shore.
Yeah, it doesn't mean I have to follow their ways.
Oh, but you know their ways.
I have a farmer's tan, and my ankles are tan.
You need to do a farmer's tan on your shaft, so just the tip is darkened.
I'm just painting a picture for everyone at home.
Put on a condom and go get tan.
Those novelty dark condoms.
I'm gonna start growing fungus on it then. The tanning bed.
Cool. So all right,
Put
so
that
the
outside.
Romanov,
This is fucking disturbing.
All right. So a little sidetrack.
I'm never getting laid again.
A little sidetrack with Rasputin. If you want to hear that episode, that's a crazy one. But that's another angle of this revolution. So like that's
another angle. Just remember this, Mike. Only women listen to the show.
That's what exactly. I showed a woman this show, and she was like, "Oh, seriously?" I was like,
and then she never responded.
She was like, "Oh, okay."
The women must find it on their own.
Yeah.
We cannot show it to them.
Yeah, I'm never showing a girl this show ever fucking again. Talk about a cock block.
The show is terrible. If you're interested in a woman and they ask, "Hey, do you listen to podcasts?" Just start scratching your head around them.
What's a podcast?
I just got a phone yesterday.
Bang your head into the ground like Lenin.
Yeah.
Just say, I listen to Island Boys.
I listen to Joe Rogan.
No,
and
don't
Alex
say that
Jones.
either. Don't say that
That's
either.
even worse. That's more vile than this show.
Yeah. So
I'm wearing swastika shoes right now, everyone.
all right, so let's talk a little bit about the Romanovs. Again, we're going to do a full episode on the Romanovs. But so people in Russia had seen that other countries were improving throughout the 19th century with this industrialization, and lives are improving. People were becoming working class and like middle class. The Romanovs tried to placate their woes by simply abolishing serfdom, which they did in 1861. Up until 1861, Russia had serfs.
little late to abolish the feudal system.
Yeah.
Wait, so they just got rid of the serfs right as we got rid of slavery?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, we've always had a kinship with the Russians.
Yeah, we're really quite the same.
Yeah.
It's clicking.
Hard drinkers, real fond of guns, terrible human rights violation.
Retarded.
We're the same
Real
but
fucking
different.
dumb.
Right, so they abolished
I like that.
serfdom in 1861. Flash forward to the late 1880s when Lenin is attending Kazan University. 85% of Russia were still in the peasant class, so like agrarian farmers that like dig up dirt and then move it to like one side of their property, then dig up dirt on that side of the property and move it to the other side of the property.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
grow a cabbage.
They're all still effectively serfs.
Yeah.
They just don't have the title anymore.
Yeah, well, yeah, the old agrarian in a place that has basically no mineral value in their soil. Like that, all the property Russia has, they can grow about 60 potatoes a week.
Yeah.
Except for Ukraine. Great breadbasket. Which
Yeah.
is why, whenever Russia's upset, they punish the Ukrainians.
That makes
Yep,
sense.
yep,
You
yep.
and your bread, your nice skin.
So keep in mind, Lenin is not part of the peasant class. We're going to get into that whole distinction and as we go through the episode. But in order to keep the Russian subjects blind to the rest of the modern world, the Romanovs created, or it could have possibly just existed, I'm pretty sure the Romanovs created it, but the Okanara, which sounds Japanese. It's Okhrana. It was the secret police that would root out subversive writing, teachings, and anything else that threatened the monarchy.
Only Vince McMahon approved materials.
Yeah, only Vince, dude.
No
Those
off-brand
Japanese
wrestling.
Japanese
he wishes
leagues,
right now.
Fuck them.
Dude, yeah, fucking New Japan, AEW, he wishes that he had this power right now. He's getting fucking trounced.
So when the Okanara found something subversive, the person would either disappear or be forced into work camps in Siberia. If that sounds familiar,
Lit.
it's because the Okanara is basically the same thing as the Cheka, which would become the KGB and is now the FSB. So as I said, Russia loves their secret police and loves acronyms.
Yeah.
So.
Another thing they had in common with America.
Yeah.
USA.
Well, we do like the bacronyms.
We love acronyms.
So
oh my God.
Yeah.
What's a backronym?
It's when you come up with the acronym first and then fit in what it's going to be.
So, like, the
Oh.
Patriot Act is actually an acronym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the
I forget
protection against terrorists
Yeah, something real
Right.
stupid like that.
isn't
Yeah.
awesome America. Like that's
Or
that type
Mike,
of
you
shit.
probably never heard of this one because you're such a degenerate. Dare?
I know what DARE is. You kidding me?
That's a backronym.
That's a backronym, dog.
Do really
Drug and alcohol resistance education.
Yeah.
drugs are really energetic.
Yeah.
Dudes and real erections.
So let's jump back to our model example of a revolutionary college student. So obviously he was being watched very closely by this special police ever since, his brother tried to blow up the Tsar. They kept an eye on the whole family. Lenin did his best to try to seek out this banned subversive books, and he organized a student dissonance group. So he actually became, for a while, like the OG incel and practiced no sex policy because he thought it would make him weaker. And
I had one of those like crazy thoughts like a couple years ago.
Yeah, he read this one book, like extremely Russian book. I don't know the name of it off the top of my head. I didn't write it down because, again, he was busy reading Uncle Tom's Cabin. But this other book was about it's basically like an Ubermensch type thing where it's like, the best man in the world never has sex because it takes out his energy sources, and he always goes out on the farm and lifts cabbages and shit. And Lenin's like, yeah, I want to be like this guy. I'm not gonna fuck anything.
Did Lenin invent Niet Nut November?
Yeah, Niet Nut.
Do you think this is because he masturbated too much and he was feeling some type of guilt?
Yeah, I mean, when you got a head that big, dude. That's
your
your
brain.
brain.
That head.
Your brain is where
all
your brain is where all the cum's stored. So
Yeah. People think it's the balls, but it's the brain.
yeah.
Well, brain gets an emotion.
Lenin as this cool revolutionary student. Of course, he picks up the habit of smoking, and he starts smoking cigarettes and stuff. And he goes home, and his mom caught him smoking, and she's like, "Don't you smoke? You're squandering our family's fortune on tobacco." And after that point, he quit. And much like Hitler, he despised smoking. If you were caught smoking around him, he would fucking yell at you and call you a cunt, which was one of his favorite words. I guess in Russian, yeah.
What does that mean in Russia? Does Russian have a translation? Cunt is like silly goose.
Isn't it kurwa? That's Polish.
Do you know, is that the word for cunt in Polish?
Hey, I think that is the word.
Wait,
I shouldn't have said that. I don't think it's the right word.
Well, it's fine.
I should cut that out.
Was that the Polish N-word?
Did you say a much word?
No, I think kurwa means something like that.
You said, well, that I'll have to cut out. I usually don't cut any of this out.
Cut that one out. I'm looking it up right now.
I'm just going to bleep that.
It'll be funnier.
I always hear Russian people yell that, or Polish, like kurwa.
So after he organizes this group, this social dissonance group or whatever, and they have a peaceful protest at the college campus, and Lenin was targeted by the Uknara, and the university expelled him. But because of his noble birth, he wasn't exiled like normal families would go to Siberia. He was exiled to his farmhouse estate that his mom owned in Alakalava, which he just had like a sprawling estate because they had so much money that he was like, you can't be around us. Go to your Airbnb that you own.
That must be nice.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Go back to your country home.
I beat Siberia, I'll tell you that for sure.
Now, let's get to the crux of the whole hypocrisy about Lenin. As Lenin was the champion of the working class, Lenin was on this farm, and Lenin was like, all right, I got to be like this guy who doesn't have sex that I really like. He's like a farming, he's a cool Russian guy, and he starts the whole farmer's lifestyle and realizes that he hated it. In fact, he just didn't like people that did any of that shit. Like, if you're like a working Joe, he'd just be like, oh, they're gross and poor.
You don't even know who Harriet Beecher Stowe is.
Yeah.
I feel the same way sometimes. Like, why the fuck does anyone do this work?
I think it's a little different because you are doing that work. You're having an existential crisis.
Yeah, I'm doing
You're
it.
not on a country estate looking down on your subjects.
I wish I was.
You're dealing with your own struggles. He's trying to go to brunch.
I'm living in my own... ooh, hell.
Yeah.
Right, but
What
then-
would you live in hell?
Continue, Travis.
But this is
I'm
like
depressed now.
this is like a Wall Street banker like putting on a John Deere hat and then being like, I love you all that live in Nebraska. What is corn? Like, I hate fucking corn. Like,
But this is a tradition of anyone in leadership, like positions. Like we covered that with William Henry Harrison,
right.
and then when we did I'm forgetting
Rob
his
Ford.
name. Oh, fuck, the vice president who took over after him, John Tyler.
No,
These guys, they were the forefront of that in America, and that is just before this.
I mean, I agree with you that that's like been a tactic ever since, like, Rome.
Well, you can't.
appeasing
Yeah, you can't
farmers.
play.
But at the same time, the communist revolution was all about, like, specifically these people, like the agrarian working class in Russia.
But it's always about that. Whenever you're trying to get people behind something, it's just a lie.
Yeah.
You just lie to them.
Yeah, like you want to make America great again. You want to go backwards.
right.
You can only go forward, though. You can just trick people.
I don't know. They say that AOC worked at a bar. What bar? Maybe Barclays. We don't know.
Could be.
The Clay's bar.
Yeah.
I ain't buying a beer there. Shit is expensive.
Yeah, it's all hidden. It's always glorified to be this way, Elizabeth Warren, she's a Native American. Trump, he likes anyone.
He likes big trucks.
He likes the big trucks.
I like big truck.
I like the pig farmers.
You know what? It's all controlled by at the end of the day by one person. I think
All one person.
all one person
Right.
Don Cheadle.
pulling the strings. I think
Fucking
so.
Cheadle.
Yeah. Don
be
Cheadle's
surprised.
the mastermind, dude.
All right. So he is back on his country estate. Hates
Yeah.
the fucking serfs, even though they're not serfs anymore.
Yeah.
He's a
He-
poser. He's
he
on the
tries-
farm. He's like, fuck this
Yeah,
shit.
he tries farming. He doesn't like it. So quickly, again, he's like exiled to this general area. And so quickly he's like, fuck this shit. And he moves to the nearby city of Samara, where he starts to hit the books again and becomes a lawyer. Now, Lenin took a job as a lawyer after he graduated. He obviously was able to do it because he's a brain boy bookman. But he was a lawyer for about 2 years. And after the end of this like lawyer thing, this is the last time that Lenin actually works. Because the rest of the time he just hangs around and writes things. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Becomes a professional revolutionary.
Yeah.
Like a Nietzsche type.
Yeah. Except didn't Nietzsche, I remember he actually like taught every once in a while. Lenin didn't do any of that shit.
He was. I can tell you off the bat, he was harder working than Lenin, but he was put in that situation because of his health.
It's
where Nietzsche like stopped teaching so much but then he got by for 20 years, just kind of going from apartment to apartment, just writing.
Right.
It's kind of like pre-Chancellor Hitler. He was just kind of hanging out and was like the head of a political movement that had no power, and he just like gave speeches.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've heard some things about Hitler. From what
It's
I
like Che
understand, he's not a
Guevara
nice
too.
guy.
Che Guevara didn't really have a job. He just kind of hung around and gave speeches.
I think that's just white people say that because of his facial hair.
Yeah.
He looks like he doesn't have a job.
They just hate those T-shirts.
Now
I actually did a history report on him, like way back in college.
On Hitler?
On Che Guevara.
Probably got an A plus with all those typos.
I got an A minus.
Yeah.
I was quite the student at the old community college, as I say.
So around this time when he's like as a lawyer, he starts to find some other like-minded people in the city of Samara that were fellow Marxists, and he starts to attend a secret subversive book club. Ooh, bunch of rich nerds getting together, playing chess, drinking vodka, and talking about the working class, who they had very little interactions with. But they were like, yeah, the working class is all about working class, dog. Look at what Marx wrote.
He wrote it.
You're making it so clear for me.
Now, this group, Russians are not very good at naming things. They have very long names. So this group was called the Union of the Struggle of the Liberation of the Working Class, or the USLWC.
Too many of those.
I was just about to say that. You got you're done at 2.
It's like the Planet of the Apes sequels, where it's
Yeah.
like War of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah,
Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Apes.
Like, you gotta cut out one of them.
Ridiculous.
It's a fucking mouthful.
Use colons.
Yeah, right?
Planet OD Apes.
Yeah. There you go.
Planet
Apes de
OD
Planet.
Apes. So
Continue, Travis.
of course, this very shitty named group was being watched by the secret police.
What are they doing over there?
Around this time, Lenin quits the whole no pee-pee touching, no shooting loads, and he quickly gets himself involved in an open love triangle with 2 ladies that were attending his Marxist meetings.
Oh.
I thought you were just gonna say it was like, and he just started jacking off all the time.
Yeah.
Where he's got he's got to deflate his head a little bit. You know what I mean? There's a lot coming there building up.
Listen, ladies, I see you showing up here. Wait, that's the wrong accent for. Ladies, I see you showing up to this thing. This is
It's still the same.
Russian Brooklyn
I see you
accent.
showing up over here. We got the thing. It's all about sharing stuff. Everyone's getting ripped off. Those guys in the field. I'm like a guy in a field right now. I'm playing a field. You're not putting out.
It's not my boyfriend. It's our boyfriend.
Exactly. Look, I'm trying to kiss you. I'm trying to kiss you both.
You're so smart.
We are all
Wow.
comrades here. Your vagina is a comrade.
You know a lot.
Oh, I'm making borscht right now. It's my time of the month. Maybe next week.
Now, the first lady was a lady named Nadia. And Nadia was like a Lenin fangirl, like just kind of followed him around like a puppy dog because he had such
Groupie.
great views on Marx.
Right.
And he was like cursing and shit because he's like bad. You know what I mean?
Right. Good.
Now, the thing about Nadia was that she suffered from Graves' disease. They didn't really know what Graves' disease was. So they thought she just looked weird. She had bulging eyes, and they called her the herring, as well as Lenin. Like, you're the herring.
Wait, what is Graves' disease?
I think
I'll
it's a
Google
disease. I actually don't know
I'm
the
going to look it up
specifics.
now.
But yeah,
I'm
I'm pretty sure it
assuming
has to do with, like... I know that, like, a lot of your
thyroid
body...
problem,
Yeah.
So that's why your eyes are, like, bulge.
out.
Yeah, your thyroid goes, and, like, you get, like, bloating in certain areas.
Skull disease?
Graves. You two look odd if you have this. Wendy Williams has Graves' disease. That
yo,
Is that why she looks like that?
she looks like a hell demon. Yeah.
The old
It's not the
Rittenhouse
millions
look.
of plastic surgeries she's had.
This is treatable today. So we can
Yeah.
make fun of it all we want.
Wow.
This
Well,
is the
back
Carl
in the
Rittenhouse
day-
look.
So Nadia, she had no chance.
No, she has Graves' disease, and everyone's like, you're a herring. And Lenin's like, yeah, I mean, the herring can suck my dick, but I'm not going to get stuck with just the herring.
Yeah.
So
I want
Lenin's-
I want some cod.
Yeah, Lenin started pursuing Nadia's friend, a woman named Apollinaria.
Dumb
And,
shit.
Wendy Williams.
Yeah.
The three of them
She looks
kind of
worn
just
out.
like, yeah, the three of them all just kind of like dated together. Like they would just like, it was like an
they were
open throuple.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
respect.
progressive.
I
Holy
like
shit.
Yeah, it was like an open throuple type of thing. They would all do stuff
Oh,
together,
yeah.
but then like Lenin goes up to herring girl Nadia one day and is like, "All right, I
hitting
just
it from
want to
the back."
propose to your friend Paulina."
Nice.
Yeah,
I'm going to marry her, but we can still hang out.
You can come
Yeah.
over and stuff. I mean, unless that keeps coming out of your head.
You got this
You
bag.
know, if it stops here, that's
I can't tell. I
get
can't tell
drunk
if you're
enough to do
shocked by this news or it's just your normal face.
Oh, you're sleeping, actually.
so so Lenin was not much of a catch as well. We've all seen pictures of Lenin.
I gotta
so
look him
this-
up now.
This Apollinaria or whatever, she had her eyes on a hotter comrade, and so she shot Lenin down.
Oh,
Nice.
curb,
Ooh.
bitch.
Suck that.
I've been curved.
Grandmaster.
Hurts, baby.
Now
he's hot.
Who,
Lenin's
Lenin?
hot?
He's like hot in like a dictator way. I don't know about that.
Mike's got a type.
Yeah, balding men with sharp features.
Yeah. Now Lenin, he's kind of butthurt. He's only 25 at this point. And he decides to do what a lot of rich Europeans do, and do I mean, he's not really even European. He's like Asian because he's like in Asia, but he fashions himself as a European, and he decides to go on a grand tour. We've talked about a lot of rich people that do these grand
Nice.
tours, right?
Is that where he goes to, like Ethiopia and like bangs kids? And
No,
shit?
probably one of the Mediterranean.
Oh, Mediterranean bang kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
They
want to
always
go?
bang kids.
Yeah, that's a key part of it.
Yeah. I mean, they love going to Greece. Greece is definitely part of the stop, and they learn about the boy loving and all that stuff. And they're like, oh, that doesn't sound too bad. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
It's legal here.
Yeah.
Oh
So-
my god. Ah.
What?
So he's funneling boy holes and shit. You're
No,
telling me?
no. You made that up, Mike.
I didn't make. You were telling me he's in Greece, fucking eating grapes and funneling
I'm
boy
just
holes.
saying
said
that
grapes.
part of the grand
God
tour,
damn, Travis.
you know, learn about little kid touching. But I don't
Learn
think
about it. What does that mean? Like this is it, but like I'm not gonna do this today.
grand tour back
You're
then
going
was
to
like
the Catholic country, so
Yeah.
true.
A grand tour back then was being on right-wing Twitter today, where they just talk about pedophiles in such vivid description how much they hate them, where they almost turning each other on with it.
yeah.
Yeah, keep going.
Oh, it's disgusting. Where?
Tell me more.
I hate child molesters. God, point them out to me. What do they do?
What are their code words on the internet?
Lenin actually skipped all that shit. Actually, he didn't do the Mediterranean part of his grand tour. He went to Austria, Switzerland, France, and Germany. And this all happened in 1895. And as it turns out, Lenin would spend half of his life outside of Russia. So this was his first little taste of being like, oh, there's another part of the world besides herring and canned fish and vodka.
That's what indoor plumbing is like.
Yeah.
This place is fucking nice. Where are you? Anywhere but Russia.
Not Russia.
So the secret police, obviously, this Russian secret police could, they were like I always get these confused. CIA. The FBI is for here, and then CIA goes abroad. So they're kind of like the CIA. They could follow these people around Europe and be like, so they were tailing him as he went around. They kind of knew that he was going to bring this subversive literature back with him. And of course he does, just by storing it in the bottom of, like a false bottom of his luggage. He like made a little trap door for it. He's like, haha, they will never find this Marx comic book I bought.
Got those dope hentai from the Mediterranean. I'm gonna check out.
They won't
Boys
find
and
my
shit.
15 copies of Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Yeah.
All different languages. Oh, baby.
I finally got my JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
It's in Greek.
So-
I can't read Greek.
So as it turns out, he comes back to his town, hangs out with his nerdy leftist book club, and it turns out that a member of his group was a sleeper agent, part of the secret police, and he was none other than a dentist. So he knows how to get in there, man.
Yeah.
He knows how to like get behind them molars. He can weed some shit out.
Honestly, that's
Snitch.
probably one of the worst occupations, because if you're getting involved in a work area, you're unable to get much out of them while you're working on them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
is
So
true.
where's the secret meeting? Say
Exactly. You're just talking at them. It's kind of hard to recon this. I just have to talk into their mouths.
I mean, if you wanted to do a hit on someone, you could be just slip with your fucking pick and oops.
Oh, fuck. His head's all falling off.
Gonna floss that carotid artery.
I'm having a bad weekend right now.
So this sleeper agent dentist, tipped off the secret police to the group, and they were raided that year when Lenin returned. Lenin was sentenced without a trial, and he was sentenced to 14 months in prison in St. Petersburg, and then 3 years in exile in Siberia.
Oh, that sounds like it sucks.
Dang.
Rough.
Yeah.
Siberia,
So-
place to be.
Yeah, so now I'm sure the prison thing was not nice, because any prisons back in the day, terrible.
Especially in Russia, I can only imagine how aggressive it might be.
Well, yeah, so you're also thinking, exile in Siberia. Man, he must be like freezing to death and like snowblind working in these mines. But the thing was that Lenin was rich. So Lenin was able to just kind of like live a normal fucking life in Siberia. Like he didn't have to do the like hard labor and all this stuff. Like it was actually seen as like the cool thing, like your initiation into these leftist groups if you got exiled to Siberia.
Oh, that makes sense.
And while Lenin was poor, his mom was giving him an allowance from her connected estates in St. Petersburg. So almost his entire life until he's head of state in his late 40s, she's giving him an income, like a healthy income.
Trust fund baby.
Yeah.
That's where it all starts. Or not all starts, but another example of trust fundness.
My mom owns a dealership. I hate my mom.
But I have the newest car.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, so
Continue,
he's doing this exile in Siberia, and as it turns out, Lenin was a very big fan of like outdoorsy stuff. He liked like hiking and shit like that. So people that like saw him in Siberia actually said this was like the happiest point of his life while he was exiled to Siberia.
Wow.
Should have moved there.
Yeah. Why not? That's where my favorite vodka is from, Beluga, Siberia.
What's so good about the beluga is it the chunks of whale fat that you like?
No, it's made with the tears of serfs.
Oh,
Yes. Very fatty.
They have a huge stockpile. It's frozen up there.
Slap the back of his head.
Yeah.
Fill the bottle.
Now, by the time Lenin got to Siberia in 1897, he realized that he's got a lot of time to kill. Remember, he's just like going on vacation for 3 months or 3 years in Siberia. It's like, you know, I got to keep myself busy, so I got to get myself a wife. This is what's got to happen. So even though Pollinaria, or whatever her name, Apollo, I'm going to call her that, even though she already rejected him, Lenin sent her a letter begging her to come to Siberia to become his wife. Please, baby, you will love it here. Oh, my God. There's so many bears and snow.
Remember how you said no to marrying me when I lived in the same town? Well, how about moving to the ass end of the world?
Now, all of Lenin's letters were screened by the secret police, because remember, now he's even under more watch. So he wrote this letter, and this was like a thing that he did. He wrote it in invisible ink, which was just milk. He'd write these letters in milk, and then you'd get the letter, and you'd hold it over a candle, and it would show where the milk is.
How did she know to do that?
I don't know. Maybe she never got. Maybe she was like, "Oh, what is this letter about?"
She actually showed him how to do it. She would draw with breast milk.
Yeah.
What I'm wondering is, like, was the KGB or whatever it was at that point just like, he keeps sending blank letters all the time.
Yeah, like they couldn't figure this out. Like, hey, how will we hold on to this letter for an indefinite amount of time to figure out how to do this?
Did she ever reply? Was she like, yeah, I'll come through Smash?
No, she replied and she was like, "Fuck no, I'm not."
I don't blame her.
Siberia.
Fuck, want to go
Now,
there.
just to be safe, when he sent that letter out, he's like, "I'm also going to send a letter to Fish Girl Nadia." Because you can't put all your eggs in one basket, right?
Better climate for Fish Girl up inside.
So he sent this a similar letter?
Yeah.
Or was it like a, hey, you're still ugly?
Yeah.
Have
Hey,
sex with
herring
me.
girl. Yeah. Would you like to be my fish wife?
Will you
you
be
like
my cum
to-
dumpster? I mean,
Would you
wife.
like to do cosplay as the Shape of Water with me?
But don't leave for here until you talk to your friend and see if she's saying yes or not.
Yeah.
You should definitely come to Siberia. My address is One Siberia Place.
Here are my coordinates.
Wouldn't you know it, Nadia, Fish Girl, was like, fuck yes. So she got herself arrested by organizing a strike and was also exiled to Siberia.
Wow.
And they wrote like a petition where, we're married now, so you have to put us in the same part of Siberia. So Nadia, along with her mom and Lenin's mom, they all moved to Siberia, and the two are married.
How does he not love this woman? That's a ride or die
That's
woman.
facts.
Right?
Wow.
Ride or die fish.
That's a ride or die herring right there.
Yeah.
That's facts.
So now the two of them tried to have children, but probably due to Nadia's Graves' disease, they weren't able to pop one out. You know,
Just her eyeballs.
They They tried for a long time. They talked about adopting, but like Lenin's like, no, I don't want that.
Well, what are we
hard.
gonna do? Get Asians? I don't want that.
I got a vodka limp dick. I can't get hard.
I got a future to worry about. I can't have these undesirables.
I can't look at you in the eye and have sex. Sorry. Oh, this is
Are you all right, Mike?
Mike's having a very
Mike?
stressful evening.
I've had a really stressful weekend.
I feel like Lenin probably got like a small oil can, like that he wrote like sardines on it. And he's like, "Baby, put this over your head." Let's role play.
All right.
So Lenin is released from exile on January 29th, 1900. And Nadia had another 6 months left on her exile term. But Lenin was like, "Peace! Fuck you, fish eyes!"
She's like, I guess I'll just wait up here now.
I know I dragged you and both of our mothers up here, but I'm out.
Yeah. I cannot stand it here. And even though he liked it, he's like, I gotta get back. Gotta join my comrades.
Sorry,
So
ho.
part of Lenin's parole was that he could not live in a city or within a certain area of a university town because they were afraid he would corrupt the youth.
Believable.
Now, immediately he broke this parole and moved to a suburb of St. Petersburg and got connected with a bunch of his Marxist comrades. Now, things had changed a bunch while he was in Siberia. Like most armchair revolutionary groups, the Union of the Struggle of the Working Class had changed its name about 3 times and had merged into other rich Marxist groups and was now called the the Russian Socialist Democratic Labor Party.
RSDLP. RSD. Well, Lenin, it's nice to have you back. We went through a few name changes. We were, what was the acronyms? We were the gays for a while.
And I was straight.
And there were the big pussies, but we went for the other one that I just mentioned that I keep forgetting. You want to do another one?
Well,
you want
they
to
got
be
rid
the
of
General Chow's Chicky Boys?
they got rid of all the of those.
That's
So
true.
I mean, good on them.
Improvement.
Yeah.
We're the swag boys.
Now, Lenin throughout this
stoned.
time was under constant observation. But what better time to start a socialist newspaper called the Iskra or Spark?
Spark notes.
Yes, Spark Notes. So Lenin would write all about these. He'd write all these Marxist editorials in this paper, and he went, as I mentioned, he went through a bunch of different pseudonyms and like different names and all this stuff. But in 1901, he first used the name Lenin, and it's common belief that Lenin comes from the name of this river in Siberia called the River Lena. But we don't really know why he chose Lenin or why he picked Lenin. Like, we don't really know why that name is the way it is.
Just imagine he had an Instagram where he could post on why he named himself Lenin and explain it to everyone.
A
That was
TikTok.
so sick.
And then you get like a mad likes from like
I've
all
been
his
getting a lot
buddies.
of questions about my last name. Thread.
Yeah, a whole post about it.
1 out of 64.
It's like him making the making faces and reacting to it while the captions are popping up top.
No, it's just him standing there, and it's the TikTok voice as he points to
Oh my
each caption.
A lot of people have been asking me. Points up.
Yeah.
Why he was one of those kids.
Why is my name Lenin?
Every
Is
time he
it-
bashes his head, the caption changes.
It's one of those filters that says bash your head on something and it'll change. So this paper obviously like wasn't a really smart move because I said the secret police was like watching him. And eventually they cracked down on him and Lenin was like, "You know what? I always wanted to live in Germany. There's they have a way better working class, far less ignorant Russian peasants." So he packs up his paper operation and moves to Munich.
Awesome.
Or flees, you could say.
Wasn't there also like way more Marxists in Germany at the time than in Russia?
Well, yeah.
Just because there's more educated people.
Yeah, there was
people
way
can
more.
read.
Way more Marxists. Basically everywhere in Europe, we see him, and we'll get into it. These places he moves to Germany, he moves to Sweden, Finland, the UK. in all these places, there's like Marxist groups, right? Russia doesn't really have them. You have these they're like armchair revolutionaries. They're like, yeah, the peasants will rise up. It's like, okay.
They're worried about eating.
Yeah.
Okay, it's your turn to pretend to be the Ottoman while I talk about what I was reading.
So Lenin is now a part of this, the RSDLP, that new group that I mentioned. And this is like an amalgamation of a bunch of different socialist groups, and they all had their own interpretation of Marx and socialism as a whole. As I mentioned, most of these groups were middle class or upper class people, and a lot of them lived outside of Russia in the places I mentioned, like Germany, Switzerland, Sweden, London. But they would all get together every once in a while for these congresses, and they would argue about what socialism really is, brother.
Amen to that.
Yeah. Now, right off the bat,
So funny, Tom.
I don't know. It's because of the silence beforehand, which was funny. It wasn't really. It wasn't what you said.
And then the
It
Hulk Hogan
was
comment.
The time between what you said.
yeah, right off the bat, Lenin was a force to be reckoned with. He was loud, unwavering in his convictions, and he was very profane. He liked to call people cunts, shits, class traitors, whores, Philistines, just anything.
whore.
What's a class trader, and how do I become one? Is there a crypto for this?
Well, yeah, you have to invest in crypto. Number
Yeah,
one,
NFTs makes you a class
Yeah.
trader.
You have to take a
you have to
screenshot first.
start wearing more Dolce Gabbana.
All right, cool. I will drive a white BMW mid-size SUV from now on.
There you go.
See, if you don't want to be a
Jealous.
if you don't want to be a class trader, if you don't want to be a class trader, put down that Dolce Gabbana sunglasses, get yourself a Pit Viper. That is straight fucking working class men.
Gear your face up.
All right, contesting points.
Pit Viper. Yum.
Did you hear the ad? I put
I
it
didn't
in
hear
the
it.
ad.
Well, I didn't
It's
hear
gonna
it.
be in this episode.
Oh yeah, I'll show it to you after the.
You guys don't show me anything. You guys, you guys
I
shut.
emailed it to you.
Cut to
You think I look at my email ever?
Cut to ad. Listen to this message. It's coming from our faces.
Faces that are accessorized beyond any level of satisfaction.
What brand of accessories? Pit Viper. Say it.
Pit Viper. Pit Viper. Pit Viper. Pit Viper. Say it again.
My time is precious.
Pit Viper.
Feels good. Real good.
Lenses for the body, mind, soul, and body again.
Not saying you look stupid and ugly.
But you could look less stupid and ugly.
And Pit Viper's gonna help you do that.
Are we sponsored by Pit Viper?
I'm gonna be honest here. We're not sponsored by Pit Viper. We're not.
Then why are we talking about Pit Viper?
Because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, I was a virgin, so I put on some Pit Vipers.
The kind folks at Pit Viper sent us premium eyewear.
Because just like you, the listener, they have great taste and are very smart.
Thank you, Pit Viper. Thank you so much for making my face look great.
Pit Viper. Yum.
We're raffling off a couple of pairs of this sweet, fresh eye gear.
Check out our Instagram and Twitter for details on that raffle. Dude, they have ballistic lenses, man. I could be shooting pepperonis at you and you wouldn't even feel anything.
And if you don't win the raffle,
You can go pitviper.com on your Internet Explorer. Dress up that mug.
The new year's coming. And it's time to look like you stand for something.
something cool.
This is America. We all have our principles. Stand for it. Something cool, dog, like Pit Vipers. Keep the sun out of your eyes. Be yourself. Be cool.
Wear Pit Viper sunglasses.
Did you hear that? Mike says, you never show me anything. I say, I emailed to him. He goes, you think I look at my email?
Yeah.
For real?
I look at it like once in a while. I look at my email.
It was a 4-day weekend, Tom.
When I'm tracking a package, I look for my emails. Oh, I got my spam folder, roast mortem. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, there it is. There. Oh, anything from Tom in the spam.
I only look
Shit.
right now.
From my rich cousin Tom, who's a class
He
trader.
never gives me his class trading advice.
All right.
So within this year of 1901, Lenin roams around Europe. He's writing this paper. He's going to these congresses where he's calling other socialist cunts and shit. And he loved hanging out with cats. There are a lot of pictures of Lenin petting nice little kitties.
Alarming.
Google that shit. He loves little kitties.
He loves pussy.
Holding baby little. Yeah, I love it.
This is alarming.
That's the one highlight of this man. He's a cat man.
Well, no points here.
I don't know. I also have a big head, so I've been feeling a lot of sympathy for him
Me
so
too.
far.
Yeah. Blockhead.
Connor, did you drag your head on the ground as a child?
Whenever I had a temper tantrum, I'd just swing it around like a wrecking ball.
Get the spackle out, honey. He's done.
Oh no, here he goes again.
So, as much as Lenin was a windbag and this mean dude within this group, a lot of his fellow comrades called him a coward. You see that he was like a big picture guy. He didn't like to get his hands dirty. He had no qualms putting his subversive, literature smugglers in danger's way, like sending them into Russia. But he's not going to do, he doesn't want to get caught.
He already has a leadership ideology for himself.
Yeah. So Lenin meets our boy Trotsky in 1902 when they were both living in a commune in London.
Finally, the real hero
yeah.
of our story.
Lenin, by the way, hated the concept of a commune. He was like, it smells bad in here. There's so much patchouli going on. I had to watch old women bathe.
Whose
this is
children
the
are
worst
these?
But Trotsky would become his best friend. And, they were like, we are both comrades, brother. And I think Trotsky deserves his own episode. But he has his shit a little bit more. I feel like he's more of an intellectual than Lenin was. So, during one of these socialist congresses in London in 1903, the Socialist Party had a massive split. So, Lenin had a rival armchair socialist. His name was Julius Martov. And while there were differences in party leadership, the original split of this concept of socialism was very minute, right? When it boiled down to it, Lenin was a little bit more authoritarian than Martov, whereas Martov was more democratic in his approach to socialism. So there was this vote that was held at this Congress, and Lenin's ideas won. And so he was called the Bolshintvo, or the majority, and Martov's faction was called the Menshintso, which was minority. Thus, we have the Bolsheviks and the Mensheviks.
That's where that came from?
Yeah, Bolshevik just means majority. And the funny thing is that even though Bolsheviks are called the majority, it quickly became clear that the Mensheviks became the majority. You know what I mean? So, the name's just stuck. It's terrible branding. You know what I mean? The Mensheviks are yeah, we're the minority, even though we've got, triple the time, tenfold the amount of members as the Bolsheviks do.
It's like today's politics.
Yeah. So one of the distinct splits between Mensheviks is the Mensheviks had a lot of Jewish socialists. And so Trotsky, who was Jewish, and Lenin was also Jewish, but he didn't know he was Jewish. Trotsky was Jewish, and he joined the Mensheviks, and Lenin called him a Judas. He was his straight-up comrade Judas, right? Stabbed him in the back. He left for the Mensheviks.
Very rude.
Now, honestly, the Mensheviks' flavor of socialism was far closer to the teachings of Marx. And I'm going to go into a little bit of communist subtext here, right?
Great. Okay. Just listening. Just going to listen.
You got to know about... we're going to be going into this communist revolution, so we got to know a little bit about communism, right?
Sure, yeah, you're right, I suppose.
Everyone's going to get the same shit.
That's how it is. Everyone
Getting
eats
the same
one hard
shit.
boiled egg every day.
Yep.
You don't like
Right.
it? Tough shit. Siberia.
Right, so
Game over.
we all know what communism is, right? With the whole,
WWE wrestler.
you want to be a WWE
I was
wrestler.
fucked up.
Why is your mic like that? How did this
I
happen?
was leaning back before. Now I was getting all sleepy because I was uncomfortable.
Now you okay? Now
I'm
we're
awake.
cooking with gas.
There you go. So I'm not going to go into like, the means of production and all that stuff. We know how communism works. But first off, communism is like the perfect state. So it's the end game of socialism, right? So think of it like you're playing an RPG and then you hit like the level cap and then you just like grind for the best weapons and gear, right? That's communism. Like you're done. Like you've reached the end.
Okay, why don't you use an analogy that people who aren't already communists might understand?
Like say you just bought the best Mossberg rifle. Why are you going to go down to a lower class Mossberg? You're going to just add attachments to the best Mossberg you own.
That's good. Yeah. Okay. So there you go. Communism is like a shotgun in your mouth.
Yeah.
With a sniper scope.
Yeah.
Yeah. With a sniper scope.
Everyone has
and
to
a
share.
laser.
We
and a
do
laser
it all.
dot.
And laser dot.
So the way Marx saw it is that these systems, right? You came from feudalism, and feudalism went to capitalism, and from capitalism you have socialism, and then you have communism. So it's like a progression of social.
So socialism on steroids.
Well, yeah,
It's like a
just the
Pokemon
end-
evolution.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can't get better than a Charizard, dog.
Yeah.
You know
So
what
I
I
always
mean?
thought communism was like extreme, like I'm getting the same cookie cutter car as the doctor is getting because it's all.
It is.
It is.
He's not saying it isn't that.
Oh, this is like the fucking
We're getting
the
we're
false
getting into
reality
theory.
of communism.
We're getting
Yeah.
deep into theory here.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're doing theory, yeah. So
False realities.
As it turns out, none of these systems work.
Yeah.
So
I see.
we're going to discuss one of the systems that doesn't work right
Yeah.
now.
So, as I said, socialism is like a progression. When Marx wrote the Communist Manifesto, he was drawing experiences that he had in London at the height of its industrial revolution. There was a clear-cut factory working class, or the proletariat, and then a ruling class, the bourgeoisie. Now, part of the process of the revolution was lifting the proletariat up through class consciousness and education and eliminating the bourgeoisie. And it was a slow process. Now, this idea, that was the idea that the Mensheviks had. They're like, we need education, we need democratic elections. This is a slow build towards building up the lower classes and eventually
Reform,
eliminating.
not revolution.
Yeah. The problem with Russia, though, is that Russia didn't have a working class. Remember, they were barely an industrial country at the turn of the century. Most of the lower class was agrarian, right?
Right.
Now, Lenin knew that there wasn't a working class in Russia, so he was like, fuck the slow build. Right after the revolution, there should be a centralized authoritarian government, and it'll be run by a bunch of armchair brainy boys like Lenin and all these other dicks that would just tell the farmers that were too stupid to, like, how it should be run.
What could go wrong?
Yeah. So it's not Marxism. Now, Lenin was so pissed. So what I was gonna say, it's not Marxism. And when you run into a communist or a socialist and they say like I'm Marxist-Leninist, which is like one of the terms is like Marxist-Maoist, Marxist-Leninist, Maoist. When they say they're Marxist-Leninist, you're like, oh well, that like you're an idiot then. Like
You don't understand what either of those words means.
I'd be
it's
so
so-
mad if someone told me that. They like
It's-
told me that personally. I'm like, what?
You should be mad.
You got to put that
Are
in
you
your,
kidding me?
in your you got to put that in your Tinder profile, dog.
What's your communist stance?
Yeah, go Marxist Maoist. It makes a little more sense.
It makes the women wet. They're like, yeah, tell me more.
Now, Lenin was so pissed that Martov's Mensheviks and their rational socialism was gaining so much popularity. He was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not calling... The Bolsheviks are not going to call themselves socialists. We're communists. Basically just saying, like we're skipping the whole, like, socialism and we're going to the ultimate form of socialism.
God mode.
Before any revolution happened. You know what I mean? Like, he just skipped all over socialism straight to communism.
It's just infinitely doubling down.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to see if this works. We're going to just make it work.
And this is completely against Marxist theory. You know,
All right.
like, yeah. Sorry, I'm getting riled up.
You're emotionally charged.
Social,
I know. I can
right.
see it. You're turning pink,
Yeah.
like Mike's penis.
Yes. No, mine's
So let's-
Snow
It's
White.
very
Oh,
pale.
yeah, it's milky.
Very pale.
Right, right.
Milky. Don't
Yeah,
forget.
milky. So let's jump right into the Russian revolutions, plural, and what would lead to the rise of the Bolsheviks. Now, there are three major uprisings that we need to know about. It's the 1905 revolution, and then the big ones, the February and October revolutions of 1917. So those are like the three main ones.
I know
mean,
those
there's
ones.
other shit going on, but those are the ones we got to know. So, the 1905 revolution. Basically, Russia had been in a terrible war with the Japanese. Russia got their ass kicked, and was basically because of complete incompetence. And people were getting really sick of Tsar Nicholas. And it was like, wow, this guy's really dumb. He's following around this dude, Rasputin, and like, these people are fucking crazy. There's a lot of complex reasons that we can't really go into why they went on strike and had these protests. But people went on strike across the country and were like, fuck this shit.
I think you're underselling too just how badly they got their asses kicked in that war.
Oh yeah, it was
So
terrible.
you know how Russia is on like two sides of the continent, so like
Yeah.
Pacific and the Atlantic. They had a Pacific fleet that was small, got absolutely annihilated by the Japanese.
Okay.
So then they sent their North Sea fleet around Europe, around
So
Africa,
half of them died on the
around Asia. No, they're fine. They're just sailing, going to coal stops. But it takes like 2.5 months for them to get to Japan.
Right.
And in their very first battle, they get every single ship is sunk.
Whoa!
They got annihilated.
so,
way.
so Connor, I actually read a book on that trip, and I was gonna do an episode just roasting the ship and what they went through, because it's so fucking crazy. Like, and they literally, it takes them so long. They go through Africa. There's all this fucking shit where people are just dying, and then they show up and get their ass kicked.
Yeah.
It's like
And-
their whole fleet's gone.
Awesome.
So yeah,
Can't wait to tell the boss.
Yeah.
possible the roast of an entire crew coming up in the
Oopsies.
future.
Let's go to fucking China. Fuck it.
So the brilliant role that the Tsar had, the powder keg that really kicked off the 1905 revolution, was that there was a massive protest outside the Winter Palace, and it was peaceful, and the Tsar was like, "Why don't you just start shooting everyone out there? They're in my lawn. Get them off my lawn."
Okay, he's got a point.
So this was an event called Bloody Sunday, not the Irish one, not the English one, or the
Bloody
millions of other Bloody
Sunday.
Sundays. Yeah, I don't think
U2 song?
U2 was. No, it wasn't. U2 wasn't.
That's
singing
not
about
based
the
on
Russians.
that.
Different Bloody Sunday.
You two's actually never heard of Russia.
Santa bloody. Continue, Travis.
They only know Africa and how bad it is.
Yeah, real bad.
So as a result of this shooting that the Tsar just opened up on his own people, it resulted in about 230 people dead, 180 injured, and 7,000 people arrested, most of them sent to Siberia.
Jeez,
You know you're doing something when the dead outnumber the wounded.
Yeah.
That's kind of impressive.
Yeah. There's also the Navy rebelled during this. This is the famous battleship Potemkin. They made a movie about that shit. Yeah. So, I mean, again, there's so many roasts in these revolutions. Like, we're going to come back to this. We've already done it with Rasputin, but there's so many different angles of just stupidity going on here.
Is this Tsar Nicholas or is this still Alexander III?
Oh, this is Tsar Nicholas.
This is
Yeah.
Nikki? Okay.
Yeah, Nikki. And his crazy-ass wife and
Yeah.
bloody child.
The grandson of Victoria, right? Grandson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Victoria's big plan, was to have all of her children bone everyone in Europe, so all the royalty was related.
Didn't work. Still had World War One.
Would have been nice.
Yeah.
Would have been nice.
What could have been?
So Lenin, what was Lenin's part of this revolution? Well, it was from the safety of London. He called for the Bolsheviks, who many of whom weren't even in Russia, to pick up arms against the royalists on the streets. This is fucking really lame. He's basically an internet troll. He's just got his opinion. He's just like, hey guys, you gotta shoot all them men.
So he has like zero authority, really.
No,
Like he's
He's a shit poster.
yeah. And if anything, his like kind of just calls for the Bolsheviks to like pick up arms just made him lose popularity with the people who were already leaning towards Menshevikism.
Yeah, you know, like you read the paper and it comes in, it's like, oh yeah, all the stuff you said about us having the same amount of flour and being able to buy bricks at a reasonable price. I like that.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna die. I'm not gonna go kill my neighbors.
yeah, he's writing it from the safety of a like English pub, eating fish and chips.
Give me more of that literature about you know how brown sugar comes in squares. And we should appreciate that.
Yeah, Lenin's like, wait, you guys fry your fish? You don't jelly it? Oh, this is beautiful.
You don't have sex with your herring?
Oh, she's there.
You just eat it and have sex with your relatives.
Yeah, you want to dump my wife in the deep fryer? She probably tastes the same.
Nah, you can have her. I'm leaving.
Yeah. So with absolutely no help from Lenin, again, this goes against. It's interesting because when you read about Lenin's role in these things during, you know, the histories that they wrote during the USSR, it makes it seem like Lenin was there for everything, and then we only knew about this in the 90s that he had nothing to do with this revolution. So no help from Lenin. The Tsar was not overthrown, but he did concede in a bunch of demands to the people. So they established the Duma, which is basically like a Senate or a Congress. So basically, Russia became a constitutional monarchy. Of course, the Duma was heavily corrupt and fucked up in its own way.
It was also like the weakest legislative body ever created in a modern government.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like it was basically like the Tsar was like, here's your little plaything that has no real power, but you might think it has power.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he could like dissolve it at will. So,
Yeah. There were
so
all
if they passed a bill he didn't like, he'd be like, nope, new Duma.
That's a good caveat to toss in there if you're a Tsar type.
Another big result was that the socialists finally had their own party under this new system because, again, it was democracy on paper. Like you said, Connor, like they could just dissolve the Duma anytime they wanted, but the socialists had their own actual political, like they were no longer just armchair people, right? Like they had a platform. Now, they elected their party members by holding councils in various regions. Now, council in Russia is Soviet. So things are starting to come together, right? The Soviet Union. This is like a union of consuls, you know?
They must be so on top of their shit. Every time I've come across a council, they've done nothing but good.
Yeah.
Town
right?
councils, there's no corruption there.
Phenomenal. How the hell do these people not get paid more?
Imagine a country just run by public safety.
Run by the people who can't fix potholes.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Now, Lenin was finally part of a legitimate party. In 1906, he thought it was safe enough to finally return back to Russia after
Thank
floating
God.
around Europe.
So safe.
Now, the secret police were very much still a thing. Remember, the Tsar is still there, and they had been watching him while he was in exile. So, Lenin was still very much living off of his mom's paychecks, right? This little trust fund baby, and he was running out of money because the Bolshevik Party was failing, and his only other source of income was just like party dues, right? Like, you know. So he's like, how do I make money? He's like, well, the Bolsheviks could like rob a train because this is like the early 20th century. That's
true.
really popular.
Wait.
No,
That was a real... This is real?
this is real. Yeah.
Love it.
So Lenin authorizes this dude named Leonid Krasnin to rob the state bank train in Georgia. Not the state, the now country. Now, Lenin remembered this little thuggish Georgian that was part of the Bolshevik Party that he met last year. His name was none other than Joseph Stalin. He's like, yeah.
Was it already Stalin, or was it that really weird name that it was like Grbrfgashlovich?
No, he went by. He had to
already
join
was
the
Stalin?
cool kid. Yeah, he was a cool. He needed to join the cool kids. Yeah. So he's like, I mean, Trotsky wasn't his name either. But like, I feel like when they joined this party of the Bolsheviks, they're like, we need a cool name.
You need a code word.
You know?
Yeah.
So Stalin, Lenin's like, get that guy Stalin to go rob the train. He seems like a little shithead. The robbery was successful, and Stalin ended up killing 50 innocent bystanders from bomb blasts and gunfire. But the Bolsheviks had their money. And we can probably elaborate more on that when we eventually do a Stalin episode.
That's
but,
unreal.
yeah.
That's wild.
Wow. And I thought that Janet Yellen was suspicious, but this is crazy.
That's the way you get money quick back in the old early 20th century. Rob a train.
Yeah, now you just talk to Goldman Sachs. That's it.
Yeah.
Speaking
Now-
fees.
Now you get a train run on you.
Yeah.
That's how you make money.
That's how you make money. It's OnlyFans.
Right. And in doing this, now the socialists, like all these different factions, like the Mensheviks, and there's another thing called the SR, which was the Socialist Revolutionaries. They all saw the Bolsheviks as terrorists. They're like, you're going to rob trains and shit, and you're calling. Lenin just loved to scream about how you need to arm up. The revolution's coming, brother. Shoot people in the streets.
Nice. Very cool.
It's around the corner.
Now, the Tsar was not a complete idiot, as much as I feel like our future roast will, discredit that. But he saw that the socialists were rallying up the people. He's like, these guys are getting a little uppity, the peasants and all this shit, right? So he thought it would be best to assemble his own group of radical pro-Tsar nationalists, a group called the Black Hundred. Now, these guys were really fucking bad, and the Tsar Nicholas, he had a special hatred towards Jews. So he mainly told the Black Hundred, because he was like, the Jews are all socialists, so let's get rid of them. So the Black Hundred would go into Jewish communities, and they started pogroms that would end in tens of thousands of Jews being killed, and nearly 100,000 Jews homeless.
Jesus.
So we talk about the Nazis being bad. No one talks about the Black Hundred because they're fucking bad.
They were around for a much shorter amount of time, right?
They were around for probably around a decade.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
there you go. Not good. Not
The Black
good.
Not cool. Russia.
Yeah, the Black Hundred would also be sent out to break up socialist rallies in the streets. So now, while Lenin was the loudest man in the room, as I said, calling for Bolsheviks to take out and spill blood in the streets for our fucking socialist revolution, he was at this one particular rally in 1906, and the Black Hundred showed up, and Lenin fled, pushing people over to get out of his way while other comrades stood and fought the Black Hundred. He's like, get out of my way. I gotta get out of here. The Black Hundred's here.
Man, Lenin's fast. I'm going to vote for him. We're not voting, are we?
He's got a shiny head.
No.
Oh, that
Now,
passion.
yeah, Lenin was only in Russia for 2 years until there was an until there was a warrant put out for his arrest. And what does Lenin do best? Does he stand with his fellow Bolsheviks? Fight for the proletariat?
Fuck
Nope.
that.
He shaves off his famous beard goatee just to hide his face and runs to Finland.
Nice.
Okay.
Like, not only did he run, he's like, people are going to know who I am with this fucking goatee beard thing. So he breaks his fucking, beard code. He's like, I'm just going to fucking shave it clean, dog.
Regrow it in Finland.
Well, that's what he does, but, how weak is that?
It's
You gotta
very weak.
Shave your beard and flee the country?
I mean, so far you have described a weak man. A man who I probably wouldn't be friends with unless he paid me
to be his friend.
And his mom's rich, and she might pay it.
So therefore, it's
Yeah.
a 50-50.
Yeah.
If he's willing to pay, I would be his friend.
There you go.
Yeah.
I am also a weak man.
Did they hate Jewish people though? It's fucked up.
He doesn't have to know that
It's true.
unless he's searching the dick.
We'll get into the Jewish thing next episode.
America's such a
He doesn't
big
have a good
penis.
track record with them either. Remember, most of the Jews were Mensheviks, and he didn't like the Mensheviks.
Right.
So
They're a bunch of menches.
yeah. Wow. So from Finland, Lenin travels to Geneva. From Geneva, he goes to Paris in 1909. All while screaming, "Go get 'em, boys! Get 'em in the streets! I'm right there with you, but I'm not."
brother.
I'll be right there, just doing some shopping, boys.
So while Lenin is in Paris, he kind of was like, you know what, my old bag of a wife, fish herring lady, kind of getting sick of her. Her eyes are getting larger. by
It's
the
hard
minute.
to, yeah, it's been hard to fuck.
They're bugging out more and more.
So Lenin's like, I'm in gay Paris. Let me start an affair with Anessa Armand. Now, this was another one of those weird throuple relationships going on. Lenin was very big about that. He was very open.
Was
in the
Lenin
fact-
poly?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But here's the thing, is that both Nadia and Anissa were both socialist writers in their own right. And they had more of a feminist lean towards socialism. Like, yeah, we're all people, right? Yeah. Well, one of the major wedges that would eventually cause Anessa and Lenin to stop their affair was that Anessa believed in free love, people choosing who they want to sleep with. And Lenin's like, nah, I kind of just like the poly thing because I can just sleep with whoever, but like, I kind of believe in the nuclear family. Like woman's got to just be there to cook me my fried jellied eggs.
Trad boy. Very cool. Very hip.
I wonder if he had ever heard of Mormons, if he would have moved to Utah and given up all the revolutions.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. You ever hear this dude named Joey Smith?
Basically, the women's ain't got no rights.
Wait, so you guys
And,
are rich?
As long as you pray to God, you can have slaves to do the thing. that
You go
you're trying
hiking,
to-
you go skiing. I love the outdoors.
Yeah, you could use the term royal we as much as you like to.
You have 5 wives there or something.
5 wives, burgers, and fries.
Yeah.
That's where it comes
Peanuts
Yeah, that's
with the shells, baby.
yeah. 5
all
guys
right.
is actually 5 married dudes.
All right, so he's in Paris with his lady.
Get onto something.
Now, Tom, you just said this is a very weak man. I haven't painted a very good picture of this guy, but I will put the nail in the coffin here. Lenin was a cyclist, one of those guys that like to bike right in the middle of the road.
Oh, that's terrible.
Dickheads.
What a shithead.
His,
He would be a communist.
his fucking speed
Yeah.
shorts on.
Yep. With big head,
Fucking
speed
waiting in
shorts.
traffic next to me. I'm like, you're not going
Yep.
to be next to me in a second. Like,
Was it
you're
like a
just-
fixed gear bike, like they all fucking have in Brooklyn now?
God.
Yeah, fixed
Target.
gear. Fixed gear. He wore.
He's
he
wearing
wore
the socks over his pants. Yeah,
Yeah,
messenger
the
bag.
ti-
What a fucking
ti-
asshole.
tiny nightcap on.
Flip his back tire.
Yeah.
I always go for the back tire.
You know, can we just stop the episode on Lenin and talk about bicyclists for the rest of the
God.
show?
Yeah.
I got screamed at by one of those dickheads because I was going the wrong way on the road. He's like, "You're not following the rules of the road, man. Like, you're supposed to be going with traffic, not against." I guess he was
Wait,
right.
you were driving on the wrong side?
No, I was riding my bike into traffic, and they were going with traffic. But like,
Oh, yeah, but
my
on
lot,
a
I was by
bike-
myself, just
It
like,
doesn't matter. Like,
He,
those
like,
rules are fucking stupid.
yeah, he made a point to like scream at me, and I was just so high. I was
Those
like,
those rules
don't
were
know what you're
designed by
talking
old
about.
people who can't see or hear to make sure that they survive. And I'm talking about the 65 up crowd who still rides bicycles. That's the only person that applies to.
Because if I'm
Yeah.
going with traffic, they don't see. They're texting and driving. They're gonna clip my back tire.
That's
Yeah.
true. All
If
right.
they see me coming towards them, like, all right, watch the fuck out for this asshole.
You can see him too. Doesn't matter. Anyway,
So Vlad
Travis,
is a
continue.
cyclist.
I don't know why we
Yeah.
keep talking about
fuck
Vladimir
those
Lenin.
people.
Lenin's a
those
shitty.
nerds.
Lenin's a shitty cyclist, and while living in Paris, he's cycling in the middle of the street,
big
like
tires.
because, dude, the shoulder's got like shit in it, got some sand. I don't want to get it in my tires, and he was hit by a car. Even though he was not injured, his lawyer training came in handy, and he sued the man that hit him and won and paid for his bike and probably some extra pierogies that month.
Wow.
Cool.
Pays to
Steaming.
read books.
Yeah, Celino and Lenin coming in hot.
8.
So for
Hey.
years and years, Lenin had been yelling this prediction that the major powers of the world were going to go to war. It's like, you know what? They're all just going to hate each other and fucking fight, and it's mean.
But I bet you a lot of people were saying that.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. I mean, he made it sound like he was the only one, but you know,
What about
I'm sure a
Rasputin?
lot of people were.
He was saying it all.
Yeah, he was like,
He was fiddling the Tsar's wife.
Yeah, he was
Rasputin-
elbow deep in this arena.
He's like the
Yeah.
nations of the world colliding, yada yada, gonna bust a nut.
Yeah,
There were a lot of people predicting World War I, but not a lot of people in power predicting World War I.
Yeah.
Well, Lenin is not in power.
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
None of the important people were the ones with the foresight.
Yeah, one thing I didn't add to my research with the Rasputin episode, instead of tea leaf reading, Rasputin would just read the veins in his dick. So,
Oh.
How are they looking today?
It's like a lie graph.
yeah.
My veins in
Oh,
there.
Tsarina, it's gonna rain.
You need to have sex with me quick.
I will go to the fortune teller who reads the bark in a fake tree in Rainforest Cafe. That's where I want to know the future from.
Yeah.
So Lenin was proven right because, as we all know, in 1914, World War I kicks off, and Russia, the least equipped, most backward country that was already being torn apart at the seams, was going dick first into a war against Germany and the powers.
Lego.
Smart.
Now
Strategic.
that's where I'm going to leave you for this week. Next week we're going into World War I. We're going into the February and October revolutions, and Lenin, the most unlikely first communist dictator.
Wow. Can't wait.
Awesome.
Can't wait to see who.
Archduke Ferdinand.
I wonder who's gonna win World War I.
Me too.
Yeah, dude. Spoilers.
I
dude.
think
Who's gonna?
I think it's gonna be Russia.
Yeah, they're looking good.
They got a lot of people there, I'll say that.
Yeah.
A lot of
Real good.
spare lives.
Yeah, they do.
I don't need, we don't need those farmers. They're fucking dumb.
They don't like them anyway.
They weren't doing
Yeah.
shit. They were just moving dirt around.
Dirt farm, moisture farmers. Okay,
Oh,
look.
moisture farm like in Star Wars.
Like in Star Wars. That's what Luke Skywalker's aunt and uncle were doing.
that was really what they
Uncle
were.
Uncle
Yeah.
Owen was a moisture farmer.
I really didn't even know that. I fucking just thought they were just like there. I don't know what the fuck
He's
they
retired. They're boomers. They're retired.
Oh, that
Yeah,
explains.
because it's got his leg blown off in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Is that why they were like so
Became a
crispy?
moisture farmer.
They got crisped up. They actually, they used a pesticide, and that's
The-
why they got crisp.
The sand people came. Like,
Don't use that word.
Mike.
Don't use that term.
Yeah,
Sand
sand
people.
people.
I can use sand people.
After
Extremely
9/11, you
derogatory.
can't use the term sand
That's
people.
derogatory now. Sand
Mike,
people?
Mike, do you want to know who
You have to call
you-
them Tuscan Raiders.
Tuscan Raiders.
Tuscan Raiders?
Fuck.
Mike, do you want to hear who is the actual only moisture farmer actually alive today, not in the future,
Jeff
very long
Bezos?
ago? No, Johnny Sims. Moisture farmer.
You know what? You're
Wouldn't
not
his
wrong.
wife be the moisture farmer? Because she's grabbing
Sims?
all that moisture
No,
out of
'cause-
him.
Well, no, he's pumping the moisture out of her. He's got that dipstick.
He's using sample sticks.
He's like a fucking soap dispenser for just cum.
Well, he's a bad moisture farmer. He deposits it on her face as opposed to in the collection moisture tanks.
He's the moisturizer farmer.
This is a ridiculous way for this episode to veer.
You think he's alright at STD?
Johnny Sins or
Probably not.
Vlad Lenin?
Probably
Both.
Well, both.
Johnny Sins is so hot, he's like an oven. When he got his STDs, they just burn off his body.
I need to learn that technique.
That's why he doesn't have any hair.
Yeah, exactly. He's very
Oh.
sensitive about that.
Damn.
All right, that's it. Thank you for tuning in for part one. Vladimir Lenin, one of the nation's finest potato, and that's it. That's all I got.
Shout out my fellow big head brothers.
Yeah. Da comrades.
Connor does have a very big head.
I got big head.
Yeah.
You know, they say about big heads,
Big hats.
I think that
Size
I think
eight.
big
that-
brains too.
I think that Lenin had a bigger dome than you did, man. He's got a big head.
What hat size was he getting from Lids? What was his new era hat size?
It's at the 8 inches.
I'm an 8.
You're 8?
Oh, yeah.
I've never met someone that was an 8.
8.
Wow. Is it like tight or is it like a little loose?
With this much hair, it'd probably be a little tight. With short hair, it fits nice and
Right.
crisp.
Lenin only wore bucket hats. And by that, I mean he just put a bucket on his head.
That's where Schoolboy Q got it from.
Lennon's favorite song, "Steal My Sunshine" by Len. Okay,
You gotta fade out the end, the episode.
Just with like the bubblegum, like
Steal my sunshine.
okay. Go to patreon.com/roastmortemcast. Give us your money. That's it. It's a grift.
Please.
Go over to roastmortemcast.com. We have you have a website set up, right, Travis? I never go there. I don't go to websites other than
Brad.
Oh,
You can get this hat. That
Oh,
I'm gonna
that-
make.
The hat that I never got.
yeah, the
Yeah, you can
violent
get this
docking hat.
Come on. I want that one. I want what was the other one? The Danky Shane?
Yeah, but it has a little cock on
I like that
Has a
one.
little cock and
Do you have
tit
any
on
more
it.
of those?
You go order it at roastmortemcast.com.
I actually will. Actually, I'll buy one.
Sell one of your pit vipers. And
You guys are kind of expensive, though. I don't know. Like
yeah,
I'm just kidding. Come on.
we're
I thought you were gonna give me a
totally
dis-
reasonably
I
priced.
was hitting you guys with a discount code. That you should have said like a discount code at the end of the episode.
No, I can't
Oh,
give you.
shit,
I
yeah.
can't give you a discount code because I'm literally losing money on every sale of our
Right,
product.
the discount.
Yeah, we
shitting
actually
and
don't
shit.
make any money on these.
Yeah.
Some people print them up and they go, "Here's your 10-cent check."
Yeah,
Awesome, really great. I'm glad everything's working this way.
it's just for you because we're all comrades here.
That's
We
right.
Share
You
our
gotta
wealth.
share it. That's right, comrade.
All right,
Keep fighting the fight, good comrade.
can't wait for part 2.
Dankums.
Thank you, Shane. Steal my sunshine.
I was walking in a class to somewhere next week. LATER that week, right? Isn't that how it goes?
Something like that. Yeah.
Spells out later.
Tom, you know it's very hard to walk around when you were tucking it in. You know, I'm just saying.
Buffalo Bill style.
Talent.
You're gonna be doing a weird little waddle.
Women have penises now.
Oh,
It's 2021.
That's far. I tucked mine in between my legs like Travis did.
I accept it.
So I said it was far.
It's the world.
Yeah, respect to everyone. You know?
Yeah,
Everyone can have penises these days.
Everyone can have penises.
But can men have vaginas? Is that
Yes,
surgery?
Absolutely.
They
yeah.
have surgery for that?
Well, it's some of them are born with vaginas and tits. And
Oh,
then
yeah, true.
are men though.
I was wondering if there's a surgery I could get.
Mike's just getting his lesson on the birds and the bees
bees.
and the flies and the lizards.
This
and-
is the new
All
birds
the
and bees.
above.
This is what we'll be talking about to our kids. You know the birds and bees talk? You know, some women have beards kind of thing. I don't know. We're still figuring out those
Yeah.
bees.
Yeah, I never had that talk with my parents. I just watched porn. Like, I just like, I'm looking at naked chicks.
I don't think
Fuss.
your dad has the gift of gab for everyone else but you. He just yells at you.
True.
I feel like modern day parents just don't have to have that conversation. They go here, they just slip them a post-it that says xhamster.com, and then they learn.
Here's
The
a phone
photo gallery
with
section.
unfiltered access to the internet. Good luck, 6-year-old.
Well,
Yeah.
my
Don't
first
poison that
experience
mind.
was my dad's job bathroom. There's I think it's one of us on the show before. My dad's job bathroom. I went to go take a dump as like a 5-year-old, and there's just porn everywhere in the bathroom.
Stack of porn.
Just like old vintage. It was like,
Pre-digital.
yeah, it was like a library. The little
The
bookshelf.
OS.
Yeah, the old school. I was like, wow.
God damn it! God
This is
damn it,
what they
Peter! God damn it, Peter! Was bring your kid
Stroke out
to
a
work
load
day.
and take it east.
I thought everyone was built like Barbie and Ken. Like, no, like, I was like, damn, they. But then I was like, wow, this makes sense.
Well, you should be.
Yeah,
You should
you're
strive
young.
for greatness. Because the idea of like the ideal human body is, would you put it in a porno?
And
I'm
nowadays
not
they make
sa-
porn for everyone.
Yeah.
I'm not shaming anyone who doesn't look like that, but as a civilization, it would be good if we strive for that.
You know what? Yeah, sure.
I just think more dangerous dongs for everyone. Should we roll on the show?
Sure, we're rolling already.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was gonna try and do like a bridge and say like the ideal human body, like having herring eyes, and then that would bring us back.
Whoa!
Oh, back to
Russia.
Russia. Thank you, Connor.
Yeah.
To the listeners, welcome back to part 2 of Lenin Roast Mortem. It's the only show worth quoting on any of your thesis papers. My name is Tom.
You can also write little blurbs about things that you learned on your DMV paperwork. I'm Travis.
And I'm Mike.
And I'm Connor. And me and Mike are just awkwardly waiting for who's going to be the third person to say.
I had to take a moment of silence today. You know why?
If you're going to go and be the third, don't put an end there.
Well, we switched spots where we were sitting, so that might have thrown us off.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Mike, what is
Slightly
your
different
moment of
thing.
silence
Do this
for?
whole intro. Just turn off the thing.
No, it's
turn it
good.
back
See,
on.
Mike's more lively in this seat.
He's good.
And we'll- yeah, more awake.
This is why
Mike,
we're here.
what's your moment of silence for, Mike? What was going on in your week, which was actually just a few days, 2 days?
In
for
my
us?
world this week, yeah.
Quiet 3 days for Mike.
Yeah.
You know what? I can't remember
Zen.
anything anymore. I think
It's either nothing's happened or he's been sexually assaulted and having a hard time opening up.
no sexual activity in a while.
Well, then what happened?
Mike, No Nut November ended. You can
Yeah.
have sexual
Well, it's been-
activity again.
It's been like no nut year. Fuck. Yeah. So I hate myself. Connor, how's your week?
My 3 days were real solid. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't have work until today, so that was
Oh,
nice.
Fuck today.
Whew.
Right?
Yeah.
Fuck work. Going
Fuck,
to work.
fuck going to work.
But it's hump day, though.
Hump day.
That's true. That's facts.
Hump work day.
Yeah.
Speaking of hump day, I was actually at the gym today getting swolled. Afterwards, I just, it's cold outside, so I have to go to the locker room and just throw some pants on. That's really it. But I got cornered. There's two men
Whoa.
who walked in like right after me, and their lockers happened to be on either side of me.
Oh, wow.
And there was a bench behind me.
Oh.
So
Was there a
I'm-
camera crew? And was there like a lot of lotion?
We were
and
getting
towels?
there. We were getting there. A couple fluffers, all that.
Nice. Well, Mike.
Yeah, the
guy
boom
was-
mic guy was walking in like right as I was escaping. I said, "Good luck. Have a great shoot, boys."
Where you go?
Yeah, trying to rope me into this. It's part of my Planet Fitness contract. I guess they.
You get sandwiched.
I got sandwiched. Yeah, it was very odd, and it was as I was taking my shorts off. So it was even worse because I'm actually trying to put pants on.
Yeah.
And these two men,
Taking them off.
both sweatier, both more swole than I am, being there. Not good. So I did make it out of there. I'm fine.
So Tom, you're telling me you went to the gym, but it was actually Nathan's hot dogs.
I was about to get served a hot log. Travis, how was your week out in Portland?
I was able to acquire the PlayStation 5 a year later.
I hate you.
Have a nice life.
Dang.
Why would you buy
well-
that fucking thing?
Dude, I was following this dude on Twitter, and then I had to like go on these like digital lines and shit like that.
Wait,
I
was
was
it?
like, how'd you buy? I said, why'd you buy it?
That's a good question because I got a few games that I've only read are just garbage. So I'm kind of seeing myself maybe playing it for a week and then going back to playing Civilization on my PC.
It's like a let's see how shitty this all is kind of thing.
Now, well, I know it's crap, but I'm a big Battlefield fan, so I'm gonna try to shoot men.
They have
in
it on
the air.
PC, Travis, as well.
Dude. Well, I can't afford a fucking crazy PC graphics card.
It needs that much?
Yeah, dude, I
Really?
installed it on my computer, and my computer was basically like, nah.
Yeah,
And then it just, like,
drop the settings a little bit.
No, like water spout out of my computer. It, like fucking tried to come. It
You
was
gotta
like
put in the lowest resolution.
I
This
did,
is
dog.
Mike just fucking playing a game that came out in 2003 in 144p. And
You want the
11
most frames, Travis. You need those frames.
Yeah, I'm not trying to play CS:GO, dude. I'm trying to CS Cream.
All right.
Wait, but how can your computer handle Civ but not Battlefield?
It's
Fishy.
got like
Wait, is it 6 or is it one of the older?
Civ 6.
Who's your leader of choice?
I usually just like float around. I always go random, but I like doing the English because I'm an Anglophile.
Yeah, weird Portland Anglophile.
Victoria sucks in that game. You're missing out.
I'm not playing that game. I heard it's really addictive.
That's why I didn't play. I'm probably never see
I'm
that
sticking to a
again.
good game, a game that's tried and true, a game we all love. Cyberpunk. I am playing that.
Are you actually?
I
Really?
almost got it started. No, I'm just fucking around. The game looks.
It almost loaded.
That's the only game that has a dong slider.
Those
But,
people
I mean,
should. Those
come on.
Witcher people should be shot for putting that out. I think if a game comes out that broken, they should be executed.
Go to
in
the
front
Hague.
of an
Go to the
audience.
Hague.
Like,
World Court.
how did you fuck this up? Just push it off. Push it off. Push it. It's not.
Yeah, Keanu
Anyway,
Reeves
all
is
right.
pressure.
Honestly, games are dumb. Let's talk about real stuff.
Tom, you're talking about executions. We have a lot of executions to talk about on today's
Yeah,
show.
let's
Vladimir!
go to the battlefield of civilization, World War One.
I was borrowing
Yeah.
Uncle Buck's segue. Continue.
All right. So, if you didn't here we go. Caveat, if you didn't listen to last week's episode, gotta go back and listen, because, come on. So last week, we left off with Lenin's life at World War I. And we talked about the 1905 revolution, all the corruption and shit that the Tsar was going on, all the Black Hundred. Remember? I'm just catching you up a little bit here.
I remember.
You remember, this is how
Yeah.
you remind me.
Of what I really feel. You know, a lot of those bands sound all the same.
Was Nickelback your top played on your Spotify rap today, Mike?
You know what? I use YouTube. I'm a fucking Chad.
loser.
You can't
Oh my
find those
God.
deep cut YouTube videos on Spotify that had, like, the weird, like, rare tracks.
What do you listen to that's so rare?
Not rare, but like I want to hear like the B-sides or like some album or like the fucking.
Or you're just poor?
It's actually more than Spotify.
Are you
Oh,
just
so you're
it's
lording
actually
this over
more.
us.
you're doing the paid
All right.
subscription?
All right, down with the bourgeoisie of YouTube,
YouTube Premium, baby. No ads for me.
Right when World War I kicks off, shit's kind of coming apart at the seams, and Lenin's like, does what he does best. He's like, fuck this shit. I got a warrant out for my arrest. I'm leaving Russia. So Russia enters World War I in 1914, and this was actually like a high point for the Tsar Nicholas. Because if there's one way to rally a nation around with some good old-fashioned nationalism, it's a war. It's like,
Right.
Hey guys, you love your country. Why don't you go die for it?
Yeah,
defend
sure.
the home front.
Yeah. Now the Russian people were actually really excited. They're like, we got to show show the world how we do it Russian style. We put bears in cars. We always have a dash cam. There's like meteors dropping everywhere in our country. They're just excited.
Our men are either extremely stock with steroids or just gaunt with heroin.
And the gaunt ones are the scarier ones.
Yeah.
yeah.
Those
They are
ones
the
who knife
scary
you
ones.
without blinking.
I thought it was
Yeah,
Crocodile, whatever that shit's called.
If you see a tracksuit in the dark alley, just turn around.
Yeah.
So if you know anything about 20th century Russia and like both of the world wars, World War I and World War II, you will know that the Russian armies are basically just human flesh walls.
Yeah.
They are always undersupplied. For fuck's sake, not every soldier even had a gun or even shoes.
What's the point?
Yeah, well,
There's like the guy. One guy had ammo. Another guy had a gun. And then one of them is gonna die, so you pick up what you're missing as you go.
yeah, and they both have one
Yeah.
shoe. So when the one guy dies, you take his shoe, and
it
then you've
sucks
got a
if
pair.
you have a right shoe and the guy in front of you's got a right shoe.
Patrick's got two right shoes on his feet. He's walking into battle. They are New Balances.
He keeps going in circles.
Right. So Russia is known as this incompetent walking disaster. I mean, they got a lot of soldiers. I mean,
Yeah, you're a lot of meat.
but they don't really know what they're doing.
I thought they were
So-
savages. I thought they're like fucking badass.
They pretend to be now.
Oh, I mean,
They just rob people
They're slow.
today.
They're slow starters.
slow stars.
Yeah.
World War I, they never really stopped being slow, but
World War II.
World War II is
they
like
go G.
terrible. By the end of it, they're like a well-oiled machine.
yeah, we're talking World War I,
Yeah.
but they pretty much won World War II. Unfortunately, our U.S. history classes will teach you that the U.S. won World War II.
Hold on, Travis.
Yeah.
Who dropped the bombs?
That's also facts.
Yeah, that's facts. We fucked up the Asians. We stopped Asian hats from coming over here.
But you know what we did? We irradiated the area, and now we have Pokemon.
That's true.
Another bonus.
But when it comes
Yeah.
to Germany, that was like, thanks, Russia. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
So 4 weeks into World War I, The people's national fervor quickly diminished after the embarrassing defeat at the Battle of Tannenberg. Nearly the entire Second Army was wiped out, with casualties over 160,000.
A lot of meat shields.
Oops.
Yep. In less than a year, Russia had lost 1.2 million men that were either wounded, killed, or missing in action.
The general of that Russian battle that they lost at the beginning, after the battle, he just walked into the woods and shot himself in the head. Out of shame.
I mean, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else are you going to do?
Yeah. Hey, that's illegal. Stop.
Oh, whoa!
I would go somewhere else. I'd be like, I'm out of here. Off the grid.
He's off the grid of life.
I may. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the whole thing about supplies. So for you, those of you who are into numbers, there was 6.5 million soldiers by October 1914, but there was only 4.6 rifles. So
Wait.
4.6 or 4.6?
4.6 million. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
They just went
4.6.
yeah.
We have these 4 guns and a sixth
That's
of a
sick.
gun.
Jesus.
Wait, none of you guys even have guns to bring? Yeah. None of you?
You all brought pitchforks?
But seriously, what'd you say, 6.5 million people?
Yeah.
Just soldiers.
That's
Soldiers.
Manhattan.
That's 2 million people without guns walking around.
But that's just an insane head count alone
Oh, yeah.
for a war
true.
effort.
Well, that's all. Oh, yeah. World War I, the numbers get crazy.
Yeah,
nuts, dude.
it's insane. So, like, we can obviously devote multiple episodes to these Russian commanders, like the guy who ran out or walked out into the woods and shot himself during World War I. But let's jump back to Lenin, who during the war is just hiding out in neutral Switzerland. He's like, okay, and he keeps sending out these letters like, "Look, guys, look what the Tsar is doing to us. I told you. You gotta come together, crack some skulls in St. Petersburg," which is now called Petrograd. But he's like, "I'll be over here, just fucking beat up those guys. They're not doing good."
Honestly, if I didn't have a gun and I got this guy's manuscript, I'd be like, I'm going with this guy. This shit's bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, yeah.
Like-
you're put in a very trying situation.
Yeah, I don't have a gun. I have no shoes. So why don't I fight this war?
Fuck this Tsar.
Yeah.
Can't even give me no straw shoes.
Fuck him
So I can see
and
it
his
being
German wife.
lucrative. I'd be like, all right, fuck this shit. I ain't
Right.
want to be in a trench anymore.
Mike, you'd be surprised to learn a lot of people thought the exact same thing in the moment.
Well, yeah. So also there were, remember, Mike, there was also competition. There was other leftists, that were saying similar things, maybe not as violent. And as the war progressed, Lenin actually lost more and more of the Bolshevik dues and members because, again, he's some guy in Switzerland. He is not there on the streets of Petrograd or rallying people. He's just a guy that has a newspaper or leaflets that he sends to Russia from people.
Switzerland.
you guys read my zines yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, as I said, he's losing dues from the Bolsheviks. To sustain himself, he mainly just uses those checks from his mom. And before long, the Mensheviks are, the number one in Russia, not the Bolsheviks.
Okay.
So flashing forward to 1917, basically most of the war he just hides out and sends out those flyers and loses money.
I never knew that.
but-
I always thought he was in Russia this whole time. When I learned this in history class.
You would think so, based on the propaganda that you've probably seen, that this
Yeah.
man is Russian through and through, but he's Choward.
Wow.
Apparently.
He's like
Well, right,
white to
and also a lot of when we went to school, it was probably coming out more mainstream, but until the 90s, probably the mid 90s, they were going off of what the Soviet Union said, which was all doctored shit, and then they were going through the Kremlin, going through these archives and finding out what really happened.
Damn.
Vladimir Lenin, he came out of an egg.
Yeah, Lenin actually evolved into Stalin. That was his evolution. We gave him a magic potion.
They're like Pokemans.
Yeah, it's like a Charin's arms.
Anamorphous.
Lenin put on some Rogaine and turned into an animal of a leader.
So 1917, this is the big year. This is the year of the revolution, the communist revolution. Now, mainly through the help of the Mensheviks, or through the pressure of the Mensheviks, people were getting fed up of the Tsar, right? And this corrupt Duma that we talked about. And they were losing millions and millions of men to this war that they, didn't really benefit them. They were all wrapped up in the beginning like, yeah, we're going to beat them Germans. But now they're like, why are we all dying? And
The
now
Germans have food. The Germans have guns. Let's be Germans.
Yeah. So now this is a very crucial moment. The Tsar made an extremely foolish mistake at the start of the war. He banned vodka. Now, if there's one way to make Russians rebel, take away their vodka.
What a dummy.
We're also gonna do all that. Just fucking be sober.
Well, it's you got to drink your vodka.
Especially on the
Vodka.
battlefield, like that shit, I'd be like hammered all the time.
Man, I had a long gray day down in the putty factory. I could use a drink.
Oh, God damn it, Tsar Nicholas coming at me and fucking my afternoon up.
Just some dirty water for you.
Well, I better
Or
go
whatever.
drink some
Goat
donkey
milk.
urine.
Now,
Get you fucked
interestingly enough, 70 years later, the Soviet Union would fall after Mikhail Gorbachev tried to start a prohibition on this Russian lifeblood, vodka. Gorbachev was like, we're going to ban vodka, and then the Soviet Union fell.
Vlad, if you're listening, I know you are. Don't ban your vodka.
Yeah. So in February of 1917, a bunch of people sick of the war. They were sick of these food shortages. They started to go on strike and protest across the country. And they were like, hey, the Tsar's got to step down. Enough of this bullshit. We got Rasputin running around sucking dicks, and we got to just get rid of all this shit. Now, this wasn't so much of a socialist revolution, the February Revolution. It's called... Basically, this is called the February Revolution because, spoilers, there's two revolutions in 1917.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, and to add to the confusion, the Russians were still using the old Julian calendar. So, right, Travis? Like, for them, they called it the March Revolution because in their dumb calendar, it was like 3 weeks ahead. So they're like, it's the March Revolution, and the whole world's like, it's the February Revolution.
Yeah, it's not
You fucking
March.
idiots.
I like that, though. It's summer quicker, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're always pushing.
Yeah.
Summer months very long.
Come on.
So this February Revolution was not so much of a socialist revolution. It was more of just like people like these fucking idiot royals. Like, we just need them out. Like, the motivation was not to install a socialist
the
government.
Tsar has got to go.
Yeah. The Romanov, and also while this is going on, the Romanovs were living it up in style while their people starved at home and their soldiers were mowed down by machine gun fire and gas. So, not good looks. Now, we touched on this. We touched on this subject a little bit when we did Rasputin, and as I mentioned, we'll do a whole Romanov episode because there's so many angles to the Russian Revolution. But the people fought hard in the streets during this revolution, and 1,433 people died in Petrograd, which is St. Petersburg, 3,000 in Moscow, and they were successful in the fact that they got Tsar Nicholas II to step down from the throne, and a provincial government was set up.
Wow. Okay.
Now, this provincial government was set up, its leader became none other than Lenin's childhood friend, Alexander Kerensky, the guy who we used to talk about, the gray wolf eats
The
the
wolf
sheep.
story. It's been haunting
Yeah.
me for the past 3 days. That's why Mike had nothing to say before. He's been thinking about the wolf
He's
eating
been
his
having
fucking
nightmares.
I've been having these wet dreams about wolves.
sheep. Oh, my South Shore sheep's gonna be all tickled up.
Haven't been able to sleep in a while.
Now, Kerensky was no socialist in the slightest. He believed in a democratic system. He wanted to reform like the Duma and like actually have like a democratic system with free markets, much like the U.S. Now, the funny thing about this whole big revolution, and the Soviets would not like you to know this, or they didn't want you to know this back when they were around, was that Lenin didn't even know the revolution happened until like 3 or 4 weeks later. So one of his Bolshevik couriers came to his house in Switzerland. He's like, have you heard the news? There's a revolution in Russia. He's like, oh,
And he's
really?
just standing there licking Godiva chocolate off his fingers, like, oh, pretty cool. I should go down there.
Choking on.
Hold on a second. Don't tell my wife. We're going to Russia.
Yeah, his wife is just like choking on a Kinder Egg toy.
Flapping on the floor.
I'd be like, can we stay in Switzerland?
I'm going to stay here, honey. Sure.
Sure, you are.
See ya. A country is calling me, and it's not here.
So again, Lenin was MIA, but the second he got the news about this revolution, he was like, shit, and he wires his tactics that he had laid out to another Bolshevik leader in Scandinavia. And these were his tactics. Our tactics are, number 1, no trust or support for the new government. Number 2, Alexander Kerensky is especially suspect. Number 3, arm the proletariat as the only guarantee for their protection. Number 4, eliminate elections.
You want to take that again?
Yeah. Number 4.
Eliminate elections.
Oh, number 4, immediate elections in Petrograd City Council. Number 5, make no reproach of any kind with other parties. And then at the end, he says, telegraph this to Petrograd. So he didn't even send it himself. He was like, I'm going to send it to a
Someone
guy in
else send us
Scandinavia.
It was on a napkin. He's like, I got to do this important stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So he's basically just laying down the law, like, don't like make any type of agreements or truces with any of the other socialists, and we have to like stop Kerensky at all costs, pretty much.
I thought it was his fucking friend, though.
Get close to the mic.
That was his friend.
I mean, he's kind of scared the jeebus out of him with big old hairy wolf boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not nearly enough of a socialist.
Yeah.
Shit's fucking crazy.
Now, Lenin knew that if there was a time for him to be in Russia, it was right now, and he needed to lead the Bolsheviks in this revolution. He'd already late to the party. Now, by the time of the February Revolution, there was only about 3,000 Bolshevik members. Like, this is nothing, right?
Yeah, they just murdered about 4 million of them.
Yeah.
Not even
yeah,
a
right?
percentage. It's
Well, just to keep in mind, so it's 3,000 Bolsheviks, and Petrograd itself has a population of about 2 million.
Oh,
Even
damn.
with all the people dying.
It's like a country club.
Yeah, right? So Lenin had to get to Petrograd ASAP, and he was willing to turn to none other than Russia's enemy, Germany, to get there.
Okay.
Remember that secret police, the Tsar secret police? They had been keeping close tabs on Lenin while he was in Switzerland. But the Germans had also been keeping close tabs on Lenin. I mean, I'm kind of surprised because he's just really a nobody. But the way the Germans saw it, Lenin was stark raving mad, and they knew that if they unleashed him and his radical socialist views on Russia, he might be able to start a revolution and pull Russia out of the war, which meant they would have one less enemy to worry about. So they're basically funding, like, it's like when we fund fucking crazy jihadists and shit because we don't like...
Or when we liberate Southern American countries.
Yeah, like
Like
communist
in
countries.
America, like funding small groups in Central Asia during the Cold War to try and counteract the Russians, and then like 30 years later, those groups try and attack America. Oh wait, that happened.
It's complicated. It really is. You know, the motives of yesteryear, they fall apart.
The Toyota Hardbody, great vehicle.
Yeah, right. How's Afghanistan been? We haven't checked in with them since the women lost all their rights.
Mike, have you spec'd out your technical?
What?
You know, where they just call pickup trucks technicals.
I never heard of that.
I've never heard of that before. I'll hear pick 'em up and just pickup truck.
For whatever reason, the like extremists in the Middle East drive around in Toyota pickup trucks and they call them technicals.
Really?
With a big ass gun on the back.
I thought it was called a turret truck, or I don't even know.
Someone came up with that cool term.
They did
But
not come up with that
They
shit.
were.
They're
I mean,
like-
that's a cool term. So what are you saying? Middle Eastern people can't come up with cool stuff?
I ain't saying anything.
All right, I
this
didn't
day
think you
and
were
age.
saying that, but I just want to be clear.
Cut that out, Tom.
So
And Travis, continue, please.
Yeah.
I'm tired of this being derailed.
Lenin Lenin had been approached by German agents in the past offering him money to support his cause, but he had always turned them down. But now Lenin was desperate, and he needed to get to Petrograd, and Germany had the armored train to get him there. Back when they had armored trains, which I think are probably one of the coolest military things.
It's cool, but it's
I know
also
what you're
like
talking about.
you couldn't do anything. Like it's a track. You know
Yeah.
where your enemy's gonna be.
It's got
That's
big
why I throw
machine
some
guns
armor on
on
there.
it.
Yeah, throw some armor. You just throw a bomb in the track somewhere.
Travis didn't it have giant machine guns on it. It wasn't like fucking decked out with shit.
Yeah, it was decked out with shit.
Yeah,
They even
Battlefield
put
1,
some.
that thing was
They
a
even
pain
put
in the
some
ass.
bushes on it so it would like blend in with the surroundings.
This is dope.
What's that thing moving on that train?
Yeah, what's
track
that
over
big
there?
bush moving?
Didn't they
big
also
snake.
have
Oh.
him in a locked train car because they
Yeah.
didn't want him spreading socialist ideas to Germany?
That
so
makes
they're like,
sense,
you
yeah.
can't leave until you're in the country that we want you to send.
We don't like your goopy-brained ideas,
Yeah.
but we'll
Yeah.
bring you there.
I
So-
saw someone describe it as like the Germans are like setting their neighbor's apartment on fire because they couldn't stand the smell. And it's like, sure,
Yeah.
so you're gonna get rid of the smell, but your own apartment might burn down.
Yeah. So
Makes sense.
let's talk about this shitty sealed armored train that he's on. So Lenin makes a deal with the ultra right wing German government. You'd think that'd be a little bit of a conflict of interest because he's such a lefty. And he gets a ride on the sealed armored train with a boatload of money that the Germans had given him.
What?
Now, obviously, he wanted this deal to be hush-hush because he didn't want it to get leaked out to the other leftists. I mean, he's dealing with, like, an extremely right-wing government. But, of course, it got leaked instantly by some of his own people, own Bolsheviks. They were like, I don't know if I'm comfortable taking money from these guys. And then all of the left in Russia, like the Russian left, just like called him out for being a German traitor.
Wow, I didn't know that actually.
And look how far he gets. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, right.
Look how far he gets.
So either way, yeah, right? I mean, maybe they're calling him a traitor, but Lenin and the group of Bolsheviks get into the sealed train ride, and it's stinky, dark. Most of the other Bolsheviks are like wasted. And Lenin gets so sick of being around these people that are just like drinking and smoking. Remember, he hates cigarette smoke. So he banned all of the people on the train in this car from smoking and talking as well for the rest of the train ride. And he set up a ticket system to go to the bathroom.
Nice.
I have a feeling his government's going to be very lenient.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm seeing like the roots of Soviet bureaucracy.
Yeah.
Like already, it's like you need tickets to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Right? What, are you trying to get rice? Well, you're not going to buy it, but we will give you...
We'll give you this.
We'll give you a
brochure.
few grains.
Yeah.
Whatever we got in the store.
The fuck online, all right?
Yeah. Now, this wasn't a direct train to Russia. He had to go. It took him all the way up into Sweden and like through Finland. Like once they got out of like the war area, they transferred to like a regular train, and then they went to Sweden and through Finland.
It's probably
and then
beautiful,
eventually
but
to
you can't
Russia.
see out the window.
Yeah, right. It's an armored... It's just like
Yeah,
a
it's
locker.
Depressing.
Yeah.
This beautiful countryside is probably just depressing inside.
He's just inside looking at people as they're whispering to each other.
Beaten off in the
Yeah.
dark, you can't hear. You just hears the flapping up and down.
What is that?
Kurva.
What is that? Socialist flapping I hear.
Who is beating their meat?
Nice.
Who is there?
Say German.
Who is beating their pickled herring? Now, when Lenin was on the final train ride in Finland going back into Russia, he had learned that, remember our buddy Stalin, he had heard that Stalin and a bunch of other idiots in Petrograd were starting to write, like, Bolshevik papers. So Lenin quickly sends out a telegraph. He's like, don't let those guys talk. They're going to ruin everything. Like, I know Stalin, he's just like a dumb idiot that robs trains. Like, stop those boys. So already he's laying down like rules, even though he's like not in the country.
Damn.
And at this last checkpoint before Russia, Lenin is stopped by a British MI5 officer. Now, you see, the British did not want Lenin to reach Russia because they wanted to keep their ally, even though, the Russians weren't doing very well.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So they had set out basically a bounty on him, and they had put out all their MI5 officers or whatever. And so this one officer, his name was Harry Grunner, he strip searched Lenin's entire party, including his wife and all these stinky other Russians. But he failed to identify Lenin, and he realized after the train was pulling away, he was like, oh, fuck, that was Lenin, wasn't he?
All right, I have to inspect everyone off the train.
Those eyeballs.
Let us sit down. Everyone's having tea with me.
Why have you got a fishing close?
So Lenin arrives at Finland Station in Petrograd, Russia, and he gives a speech to all the Russian people and Bolsheviks that are waiting for him. We don't know exactly how large this crowd was. I'm assuming it wasn't very, but the Soviets made it seem like he was addressing Jet Stadium or something. Like
38 people.
Yeah.
That's my guess. 38 people.
Yeah.
People were bored back then.
And a baby.
Now, in his speech, he called for the need to give every peasant bread and land.
How much land am I going to get?
Well, you see how
gives a
much
shit?
Russia
You're gonna
has.
get bread.
True.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
I'm really in this for bread. Fuck the land. It's going to be in fucking Siberia.
Yeah.
iPhones for everybody.
Look how much useless land Russia has. No one's ever fought them for that whole Asian territory.
I want that area you got over there by Japan.
Yeah. This is
where
where
I
I
live.
live. So, do I have to live on my land? Because then it's a deal breaker. I'll take it, but
I'll make a snowman or something.
I actually never want to see it.
There's no roads probably to some of these places, right?
There's like
no.
Dirt.
It's
It's the tundra.
Yeah, right?
It's like more risky than like being the only bidder on one of those storage units on like Storage Wars.
And guess what? It's the biggest thing, though. We got the biggest.
$10, it's all yours. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's actually, yeah, you're right. Could be a lot of garbage in there.
It's gonna be nothing.
Mike,
It's a lot of
Mike,
landfill.
Mike,
miss.
it's like going to 7. Yeah, you want to go to 7-Eleven and you're like, let me get some taquitos, and they throw in some extra ones that like have been on there for a while. And
Oh,
they're
like 2
hard.
in the morning. Like, yeah, you have them all for free, and it's rock hard. And you're like, oh my god, this is terrible.
That's exactly what's going on. So one of the big rules of being a great dictator, right, is you have to you can promise everything. You just don't need to deliver, right? I mean, it's basically politicians.
Yeah,
and
We're not trying to
To
break
this
the
day.
bank here.
yeah.
We're trying to gain control.
Right, so he's like, you're gonna get bread and land. We're gonna pull us out of this stupid war. Everyone's gonna like prosper. And,
I
you'll have
will.
all these freedoms.
I will give you all $1 million, and I'm gonna suck your dick. Every single dick.
Every single one.
Not right now, because I have a cough. But I will.
Well, no, it's just, I'm not sucking yours because I'm making my way to the line. So,
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be a while.
just wait your
Hold
turn.
it, But
Get a
man, by the
ticket.
time I get to you,
Grab
I'm
the ticket.
I'm gonna look like a French curler in my fucking mouth zone. It's all gonna be herpes, but that's fine.
Hey,
Yeah, who likes dome? You see the size of this dome, dog?
no teeth, please.
People are just bread and land. Just bread and land.
So that's not how the people reacted. Most of them were like, Lenin, you're hardly Russian. You haven't even been here for fucking like 20, 15 years. I mean, maybe you came back for a few weeks and then you ran away.
Oh, you're
the rest of us.
flexer.
Yeah, the rest of us had to stay here and suffer. And you just fucked off to like Switzerland and Sweden and London. So he's not very popular after giving the speech. I mean, some people liked it, but they're kind of like, who the fuck are you?
Who are you to tell me I haven't suffered? Now I understand you've been at war. My heart goes out. And yes, I've been in a place where the weather is far more agreeable than here.
They
But
also
the
have
food,
lots of bread and cheese.
the calorie content. I have come back a wounded soldier of the cholesterol war. I am back the amount of cheese I had to stuff in my gourd just because I wanted to eat. All right? Is that my fault?
So with the Tsar gone, and this new provincial democratic government set up, there were big changes in Russia. One of the biggest ones was free speech. Spoiler alert: this wouldn't last very long, but they had free speech at the moment.
Believe it or not.
People could write and collect their political ideas and meet together and discuss these things.
It's like a babysitter. Yeah, you can stay up late tonight, but don't get used to it.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah, you can eat M&Ms in bed. Your mommy don't let you do that.
Mom and Dad.
The divorced dad coming in. Yeah, sure, I don't care. We'll get McDonald's for dinner. Don't get used to it, though. Your mother's a vegan. Obviously, things have not worked out.
So Lenin was having a field day. He didn't have to worry about these secret police going on and all this shit. So he did his best to fight against Kerensky and the provincial government, and also the his other socialist groups like the Mensheviks. And it was interesting because the Mensheviks and the Bolsheviks were both anti-war. But I think I mentioned in the last episode there was a group called the SR, which was the Socialist Revolutionaries. They were pro-war. So they were also socialist, but he really went against them because he's like, why do you want to keep fighting these guys? Now, I feel like most people and other leftists consider Lenin to be crazy and dangerous. Again, he was promoting a dictatorship of the proletariat. So right off the bat, he's like, it's going to be a dictatorship, guys. It's going to be great. You're going to love it.
But it's going to be our dictatorship.
Yeah. And they were probably right because he was pretty dangerous and crazy because at this point, the Bolsheviks were mainly being supplied financially just by the Germans. The Germans were sending him money and cash and checks just to foment rebellion in Russia.
So I never knew that. That's pretty interesting. I thought he was, like you said before, he was like a Russian boy. But...
Well, he gets painted as being like the lesser between Stalin and Lenin. Lenin figured it
Karl
out.
Marx,
Stalin came
Lenin,
in and ruined
Stalin.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
I think at the end of last episode, if there's something to come away with, it was like Lenin just perverted everything that Marx really stood for. I mean, like, I went into that whole thing about how there was a progression, and Lenin was like, fuck that, we're going to make it a dictatorship and all this stuff. So, by July of 1917, the violence had started up again, spurred on by the Bolsheviks and the new right-wing faction. Remember, we had the Black Hundred last time. This time, they're called the Cadets with a K.
That's pretty gay.
Oh, I was going to say, Cadets with a K?
A bunch of guys who do have guns, but also pantyhose. And they are kick lining. They do not have a front line that is not in sync, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What was it, a bunch of bouncing balls?
So, you guys remember from last episode what happened when Lenin was confronted by the Black Hundred, right? He ran out of a crowd pushing people over and then fled the country. Yeah.
I remember that.
That happens again. So in July of 1917, he starts getting threats by the cadets, and he's like, fuck this, I'm going to Finland. And he leaves Russia once again.
Oh, damn.
And also there was an arrest warrant put out by the provincial government who had seen him labeled him officially as a terrorist.
Wow.
Well, good. Why not?
So, yeah, Lenin hides out in Finland for 3 months. And there was a bounty of 200,000 rubles on his head, dead or alive.
Was that like $12?
Yeah, a hot number 6 at McDonald's.
Yeah. I'm gonna say 3 years into the war, Tsar has just been overthrown. That can't be that much money.
Yeah.
right. Our money's worth nothing. Take most of it.
But when the time was right, Lenin made his return back to Petrograd. And that was October 10th, 1917. So October.
I think I know what's coming.
Remember I said February and October are the big ones? He's coming back right in October.
Oh, he's a Libra.
Libra season.
Yep.
Me and Mike.
Balance.
Yeah.
Let's go.
He's coming in on a reindeer.
He's got his horoscope ready. This fucking
So we
knows
did-
what's happening.
we did a little mention of that guy Trotsky, if you remember, and remember Lenin called him his Judas because he had left for the Mensheviks. Well, by this point, Trotsky had 180'd again, and now he was back with the Bolsheviks. Now, between Lenin, Trotsky, and a bunch of other top Bolshevik people, they planned a secret Bolshevik revolution. Now, if you know how good of a secret he kept with the whole sealed armored train, this secret was not kept very long and was leaked to both the left and right wings of Russia instantly, like the date of when they're going to have their revolution.
Oh, okay. Just like the train tracks.
Guys, the first rule of the October Revolution is you don't talk about the October Revolution.
Why are there so many new members here?
Why are you filming this?
Why are there flyers everywhere?
What is it? What is
Be
Facebook?
here now.
Why is this on Facebook? What is a Facebook?
What is a Facebook?
Free bread
I
at the
got
revolution.
your invite, Trotsky.
It's 1917. I just got a bird shit on me, and it had a date written on it. It
Oh,
said,
what's-
got to log into Facebook. Let's find out the event.
You
What's
just don't
the-
understand the meta yet. I'm sorry.
Yeah, what's this text coming from Trotsky here? It has a winky face and an eggplant and some water. Whoa!
I mean sex.
Oh, I think this is for you, herring wife. Women can't have phones.
So you have this big secret plan to rebel, to overthrow the government and have this rebellion. Now, the Mensheviks and the SR were like, they went to Lenin because, I mean, at least they were on talking terms with him. We're like, dude, you can't do this. This is dumb. You're going to ruin everything that we've done so far. And don't you think we've had enough? Don't you think we've had enough here? Come on.
He's like, I don't know. I just got high cholesterol, and I'm fine. I can go for more. I'll be all right.
The socialists were actually not the Bolsheviks, but the two other socialist groups are actually some of the top members of majorities of the provincial government. So they were very popular, and then they saw that if Lenin was going to have this revolution, they were going to fuck him up. But Lenin's like, nah, dude, we're having this revolution because it's October, or actually, is it November? Because I don't know.
Scorpio season.
We don't really know the date.
It's
We don't really
September,
know the
really.
date.
And he's just like, it's back to school time. And everyone's looking at him like, what?
We're still using a calendar made by Julius Caesar, so
Good.
The first thing that everyone's going to get in our communist state is one of those little pencil holders, the round ones, and you can put all your erasers and pencils in it.
Oh, boy. I can't wait to feed my family with that.
I used to chew on my erasers.
Really?
Oh, man. Yeah.
You're a handsome child because of it.
Yeah.
That's why you have a strong jaw.
that way you can just lick up the graphite to erase it.
I used to sniff the markers.
Well, that's a smart move for sure.
They really trained kids dirty with those, like
The scented ones.
Scented ones?
Yeah,
Smell
right.
this. Hey, only
I was like,
smell
Sharpie.
these. Yeah.
Oh, baby!
What did they think was going to happen? Just
Right?
like, markers are smellable.
You know what's fucked up?
Yeah, let's make the glue all wacky colors with glitter on it. Next thing you know, the kid's putting in a bag like the industrial glue.
I couldn't tell the difference between that and the Shrek-colored ketchup.
A lot of the kids that used to do that, they're all drug addicts now. That I used to go to school with.
Smelling
Yeah.
a Sharpie is
Smelling a
like
Sharpie.
is like cocaine for an elementary school kid.
They smell fucking.
It's called
good.
getting on point. That's what we
The
call it.
watermelon one, and then you fucking paint with them
Were
afterwards.
you too young for the? Do you remember the blue box of them?
Yeah, like the fucking.
They had the black licorice one, and like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
that shit was tight.
That's when
So
school was
they
fun.
had all these markers and during the revolution.
Yeah.
sniffing
And
markers everywhere.
the ink was made with PCP.
Even better. They didn't have that back in my school.
There has been a lot of depictions of the October Revolution. This is the big one. This is when communism started.
Awesome.
Dope. Love it.
Now, most of these depictions, you see a massive revolution, people flooding the streets and celebrating and, overthrowing the government, all this stuff. In reality, it was only about 10,000 people. And as I mentioned, Petrograd was a city of 2 million people. So only 10,000 people. They stormed the Winter Palace, and the revolution was pretty much won without a shot fired.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Actually, American journalists were able to stroll in and out of the Winter Palace, and Lenin even had time to have a dinner of borscht, steamed fish, and artichokes.
Wow. Yeah, and then like all these poor people, they're just in their little huts. They're having that conversation. I guess we're communists now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the wife's like, that's nice.
Made the bread bigger.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting because from reading this description, it really reminded me of like what we saw with the Taliban taking over Kabul, where it was just like, all right, guys, we're here. How you doing?
We're in charge now.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
Good
fight
luck.
these guys.
Anything is better than this. We'll find out.
Right. So the provincial troops, the provincial government troops that were defending the Winter Palace, they certainly didn't want the Bolsheviks to take control, but they didn't really give a fuck at this point. They were just like, all right, and they just like walked away or like joined them. Now, the issue that Lenin faced immediately after, much like Kabul and all that stuff, whenever you see something fall, was to stop all the Bolsheviks from looting the Winter Palace and the Peter and Paul Fortress. Now, now they're called the Red Guard immediately because they are communists, the Red Army, all that stuff. So the Red Guard and the surrendered Regimental Committee, which was the provincial troops, put down their arms and first raided Tsar Nicholas's wine cellar, which was still there in the Winter Palace.
Smart.
Everyone got drunk on expensive wine, and then took anything that wasn't nailed down.
Damn.
Well, we're communists now. This obviously belongs to me.
It's ours.
Sure.
Well,
it's
at
all
least
ours.
my neighbor.
Yeah.
I'm just holding it for someone.
Probably some really good wine, too.
Yeah.
The
It's probably
Tsar's collection.
Yeah, like made in the 1600s or something.
There's going to be some old fucking wine in there.
Fucking vinegar. It turns to bullshit after like 30 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Tom,
When they
it's
talk
the
about good years
experience.
and shit like that, you
Yeah.
don't want something that's more than 15 years old.
Really? I thought you wanted like
From what I
something that's,
understand,
like
there's like
80,000 years
a
old.
cutoff or something like that. I'm not an expert on it, but yeah, you can crack a wine from the 80s. It's just going to be balsamic vinegar.
I don't
I
know.
like
I've-
balsamic vinegar.
have you guys seen that YouTube channel of the guy eating World War I rations?
No, but that sounds actually
That
interesting.
sounds real sad.
He does it. He does it. It's an experience.
Like replica, or is it like actually?
No,
from,
they're like
Leftovers.
leftover rations from World War I, like
God.
British
Ew.
Eating a
rations.
chicken that's 120 years old.
I actually kind of want to see this. This actually
me
piqued
too.
my interest.
We'll watch some after we
Ooh,
record
yeah.
here.
Well, it's British food, so it's like biscuits and shit.
Fucking beans and shit.
Yeah. So Lenin just, while this looting was happening, he tried to stop it, but then he just put his feet up and he claimed that the glorious October Revolution was, quote, as easy as picking up a feather.
From experience, it's pretty easy to pick up a feather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
I mean-
harder to even walk upstairs, which you would have to do. So
Yeah.
I mean, also, like, was it though? I mean, I feel like he was just out of the country most of the
Yeah,
time.
he wasn't really.
Well, that's
there.
why it was so
Really.
easy.
Yeah, right?
He was like, I wasn't there. It
I
just
wasn't
happened.
there.
There's a word
I
for
marched
those.
right in there and I said, "Me, Vlad, Russian man, I'm taking over. Get out of here. Give me your wine. Give it to the boys, the red men here. Okay, get all your other colored men out of here. It's
Yeah.
only red.
Red
Red
from
man
now
group
on.
only.
Yeah.
Capiche?
No blue men over here.
We're about to have a nice color war, too.
Could you imagine, like, if they had in Russia their own red man group? Like,
Dope.
they don't have art over there, so they wouldn't be able to have the red man group.
They wouldn't.
Yeah. I feel like that's the only thing that they would be able to have. It's just Red Men group.
Yeah, maybe. And they're not fun.
Be a very different
Yeah.
red man.
They're all child molesters.
They're just covered in borscht.
Oh god.
So that's it. They won.
Yeah.
Back
That's
to
the end
back
of the
champs.
episode, right?
Revolution over.
Yeah. Now what do we do?
And that's why today we have communist utopia Russia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Man, I wish I could live there.
Yes, comrade.
So, I mean, I feel like it would be really fun to play with airbags and like put them on your seat, Tom, and shit like that.
We could do that here.
No, but I have to do it in Russia, or else you'd sue me. We just have a laugh if we were in Russia.
That was a dig. That was a Jew joke. That was. You heard it
That
here
was
first.
low.
Over me and Mike's head.
I'm very sensitive to
Very
that.
anti-Semitic. of you,
On
Travis.
Hanukkah, I'm very sensitive
This
to
piece of shit. You let this piece of shit on the show?
I'm thinking about pulling the plug on this
Fucking
whole show.
Kick on the
him
show
out.
right now. I'll look it up on Wikipedia. We'll finish the show.
Thank you.
Tom,
Yeah,
I'll give you
finish.
some chocolate gold. I'll give you some chocolate gold. Calm down.
It's called Gelt. You
Chocolate
anti-Semite piece of shit.
Jewish leprechauns. Okay. So the day prior to the revolution, Lenin had actually asked Trotsky if he wanted to be the leader of the new communist state. Now, Trotsky, Tom, go ahead. This is funny that this is next line. Trotsky was like, "No, I can't be the leader because it would be impossible for a Jew to run Russia."
Look, I have a business to run. I don't know what it is. I can't be running a country and be running to the center of the earth at the same time.
Yeah, how am I gonna trade jewels and things? Come on.
How am I going to start Hollywood if you're out here asking me to run your country?
And then Trotsky was like, "You know what? There's only one man for the job. It'd be you, Lenin."
He knew that was coming, too. That's why he
Yeah.
asked Trotsky.
Yeah.
Because he's
exactly.
just like, who will run such a magnificent country
How
that
about
I
you,
have just helped in
Trotsky,
founding? Yeah.
the only Jewish guy in our organization.
For nay, my friend Lenin, I cannot. I have to go make Hollywood happen. Well, perhaps you should.
I guess I have to accept. There are no other options.
What a predicament. Well, hi-ho.
So hours after the revolution, Lenin was laying down his dictatorship. The first thing on his agenda was to, and this is just terrible, censor the press. I mean, it's kind of like, come on, man. You've been, like, censored your entire life. But now any media, any press or anything like that that slandered the Bolsheviks were immediately shut down. And their press is taken by the government.
All right, that's a good start. It's a good start to getting it all fucky.
Yep.
Yeah, he did a few good decrees. He did make a mandatory 8-hour workday. He gave women the right to equal work.
Wait, hold on a second. You have to work 8 hours or no more than 8 hours?
No more than 8 hours.
But you have to work 8 hours.
oh, well, yes, you have to work.
Why not a 2-hour
Yeah.
work day? What the fuck
Yeah.
is 8 hours for?
Come on, Lemons. I need a break.
Yeah, you fucker.
He nationalized major industries and had freedom of religion. Not religious freedom. Freedom of religion.
Wait, was it freedom from religion? Was it that kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
freedom from religion?
Yeah, freedom from religion.
Yeah.
So now he also granted independence to all countries that were in the former Russian Empire. So these were places like Poland, a lot of the Baltic states, and like Western Ukraine, I think. He was like, you know what, you guys, you have your own country. This would not last very long as well.
Yeah, look,
It's going to change his mind on that one.
Yeah, he couldn't change his mind.
we're coming back, but it's like the babysitter analogy. You know,
Yeah.
take a few days off.
Yeah. So now he had to deal with Kerensky. So Kerensky had fled the country and went to the front lines. Remember, World War I's still going. He hasn't pulled anyone out yet. And he rallied a bunch of Cossacks out of the trenches to come back and storm Petrograd. If you don't know what a Cossack is, they are like the basically Viking berserker, or like Asian Viking berserkers of Russia. They're fucking
horseback.
crazy people on horseback. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're crazy warriors.
Sounds good.
They were also like the right arm of the Tsar. When the Tsar was like
Yeah.
the most powerful, it was the Cossacks that were like his sword. It was what the,
Now I do
Yeah.
remember the Cossacks because I watched Fievel, an American Tale. And
Oh, yeah.
there are cat Cossacks in that.
Also, the Cossack is almost always the unique unit for Russia in the Civilization games.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're
They
pretty
mashed
much just
potatoes,
like
too.
they're pretty much just
Mashed
remnants.
potatoes? What?
I think mashed potatoes too.
Cossacks mashed
Oh,
potatoes?
there's cozy something.
That's cozy koozie or what is that one?
Something.
The
It was close
yeah.
enough.
Come on by.
That's rice pudding.
Do you like our prepackaged mashed potatoes? The gravy's delicious.
Yeah, it's cozy.
It's Jewish blood.
Continue, Travis.
Yeah, no. The Cossacks are pretty much just like remnants of Attila the Hun.
That's pretty fucking dope.
Probably where it's at.
But very scary if I was Lenin. I'd be like pitching a tent somewhere.
Well, Lenin, remember, he's got all the money now. They literally, when they went into the Winter Palace, they put all the money in like old-timey sacks because they couldn't put it in a bank. So they just had these like like sacks of money, just. So he went up, he was able to contact some of the Cossacks, and they was like, dude, I'm going to give you all this money. You guys you can leave World War I right now. You get safe passage through the country, and I promise, remember all these promises, you will have an independent nation on the Eurasian steppe. Didn't happen.
Not surprised.
But he was able to stop a majority of this initial attack from the Cossacks. He would still have to deal with, some of them later, but this initial take back was put down. So quickly people realized that Lenin's rule was not very good, and they started to do what a good socialist would do, would be go on strike. So I remember Lenin's like, hey, everyone go on strike. And then Lenin comes in, and people start going on strike, and Lenin starts calling them saboteurs, and that the strikes were nothing but class blackmail.
Class blackmail?
Yeah.
What?
I mean, I'm interested. How do we do this?
How do we blackmail the rich?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do I go, Mr. Bezos? I got something that you want. There
Shame,
you go.
shame, Mr. Bezos.
Yeah, we will see.
Asshole.
We will see Lenin pretty much like name everything class something, class this, redefining what classes are. But this was the first one where I was like, well, how is it blackmail? They're just going on strike.
Who knows?
Selling the news.
Now, remember, I said they're walking around with these bags of rubles, just like money pouring out of them. The problem was they had no treasury for this new government. They didn't really know what the government was at this point just yet. But they had no treasury. They had looted around 2 million rubles from the Winter Palace, but no bank would let them deposit it, and the banks wouldn't let them access the funds of the government. So Lenin turned to the National Bank. Now, the National Bank was the same bank that Stalin had robbed the train in Georgia.
Amazing.
So in order for the National Bank was like, all right, we'll let you put the money in, but and we'll let you get like the government's funds, but you have to pay us back from what you stole in Georgia.
Oh, they knew it.
Yeah.
They figured it out?
Yeah.
That's great.
They were like, we know you have all this money. You have to pay us back for what you took. So he pays them out, and he instantly has all these funds from the government at his disposal. Now, another decree that he set up fairly quickly was to set up something called the Cheka. Now, for a man that had been chased his entire life for the secret police, one of his first actions was to set up a secret police to dispense revolutionary justice.
I like that.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah, it's like Rob Dyrdek and Big Black.
Yeah.
Same thing,
Need a security guard on you at all times.
Yeah. So the Cheka were essentially the Okanara or whatever, the Tsar's secret police, but they would be bumped up on steroids between Lenin and Stalin about their powers and all this stuff. The Cheka took various names over the 20th century, the KGB being the most popular, but was always considered the Cheka. A lot of people think that it like transformed into one or another, but it was always, if you were in Russia, a lot of people would just call you a Chekist if you were part of the KGB. So a very famous person that considers himself a Chekist, and will use that term, is Mr. Vladimir Putin, who was an ex-KGB officer.
Extremely hard man.
Yeah. The Cheka made no time getting up to shady shit. There were 844 executions between December 1917 and June 1918. Probably more than that. Those were just the ones we knew. Now, one of the big platforms Lenin was rallying the people behind was peace with Germany. So that was, again, big on his list of things now that he took over. So the peace treaty process took months. Lenin actually sent Trotsky down to Germany to negotiate with the Germans on how to get out. And they tried to, between Lenin and Trotsky, they tried to play this like delay process for whatever reason. I don't really know why, because the Germans were basically like, no, you're going to just agree to like the worst terms of peace in order for you to get out.
Part of it was also that the Russians were like convinced that the same revolution was going to happen in Germany. So they were like, delay because we think that their government's going to get overthrown. And then they signed the worst peace treaty in human history because they were like, well, whatever, none of this is going to matter when the worldwide workers' revolution happens and we all live in a utopia.
Oh,
Right.
That's
Yeah.
smart.
Okay.
Yeah. That's good.
Okay. So, so they're doing this delay tactic, and the Germans aren't budging. Again, like the Germans, way more powerful than the Russians. The peace treaty that Lenin signed was so demoralizing to the Russian people that, again, they called him a traitor, a German spy. Basically, he gave up all occupied land to Germany, so Poland, Lithuania, Kurland, West Ukraine, and he had to pay them 120 million rubles.
But he'll
Those were
just
the
make
big-
more of it. He'll
big
just print up
concessions.
some more.
Yeah.
It's the Brest-Litovsk Treaty.
I'm gonna look up how
Right?
many that is. Rubles.
Yeah, the Brest-Litovsk Treaty. So when people cried out that Lenin was a traitor and that he belonged in prison, he responded with, I think, one of the best bond lines of history, actual villain bond lines. He was like, he said this: "Some people may indeed go to prison after this, but if you,
Take it again.
Very good. I'm not a very good Bond villain. If some people may indeed go to prison after this, but if you calculate the probabilities, you will see that it is much more likely that I will be sending you to prison rather than you sending me."
It's somewhere between Bond villain and like also Dogecoin trader.
Yeah, I could, like,
Well, if you look at these
like
statistics,
shit posting on Reddit.
if
Like,
you do the math that I ripped off this guy on YouTube, you're gonna see you're going to jail.
it is not me who is owned by you.
Huh?
You
We
are
have this
owned by
truce.
we.
And there's poor people in Poland going, I guess we're German now.
Listen to this message. It's coming from our faces.
Faces that are accessorized beyond any level of satisfaction.
What brand of accessories? Pit Viper. Say it.
Pit Viper. Hit Viper. Hit Viper. Hit Viper. Say it again.
My time is precious.
Hit Viper.
Feels good. Real good.
Lenses for the body, mind, soul, and body again.
Not saying you look stupid and ugly.
But you could look less stupid and ugly.
And Pit Viper's going to help you do that.
Are we sponsored by Pit Viper?
I'm going to be honest here. We're not sponsored by Pit Viper. We're not.
Then why are we talking about Pit Viper?
Because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, I was a virgin, so I put on some pit vipers.
The kind folks at Pit Viper sent us premium eyewear.
Because just like you, the listener, they have great taste and are very smart.
Thank you, Pit Viper. Thank you so much for making my face look great.
Pit viper. Yum.
We're raffling off a couple of pairs of this sweet, fresh eye gear.
Check out our Instagram and Twitter for details on that raffle. Dude, they have ballistic lenses, man. I could be shooting pepperonis at you and you wouldn't even feel anything.
And if you don't win the raffle,
You can go pitviper.com on your Internet Explorer. Dress up that mug.
The new year's coming. And it's time to look like you stand for something.
something cool.
This is America. We all have our principles. Stand for it. Something cool, dog, like Pit Vipers. Keep the sun out of your eyes. Be yourself. Be cool.
Wear Pit Viper sunglasses.
So now, if you remember from the last episode, we talked about how terrible the Duma or the Congress that Tsar Nicholas set up was, how much of a joke it was. Well, Russia actually had one that was even worse.
Really?
Russia's first truly freely elected parliament, called the Constituent Assembly, lasted all of 12 hours.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
So the Constituent Assembly was an all-out shit show. And Lenin went into it knowing that the Bolsheviks would not be able to get the majority. Other socialist groups like the SR and the Mensheviks were going to wipe the floor with them. So Lenin was like, it would be really bad optics to ban another socialist group, so I'm not going to do that. But I will ban the right-wing cadets. They were instantly banned and arrested.
But
So
they
they
just
couldn't-
got new fishnet.
Yeah, so they couldn't participate in the free election. Now, when the assembly actually started, there were massive protests outside the building it was being held at that were promptly dispersed by machine gun fire right
That's
into
the
the
way to do
crowd.
it.
Right in there?
Get out of here. Yeah, right in there.
Get him away.
Yeah, it's my country now, motherfuckers.
Yeah. Now, the votes for parliament came in, and the Bolsheviks came in dead last in the assembly.
Oh.
The SR actually took the day. So the proceedings went by, and the leader of the parliament, an SR member, was going to hold a session on the decrees that Lenin had set down prior to the assembly.
Okay.
Now, when he set this motion, all the Bolshevik assemblymen walked out of the building. They just walked right out. Lenin saw this. He was there at the building. He decided this was a terrible idea to actually hold this parliament, and then passed a decree to dissolve the assembly.
Awesome. 12 hours.
I like that.
12 hours.
You know what the Bolsheviks said? They said,
I'm going home.
we're not playing ball, Shevik. See what I did there?
Ball with a ball, the bang, the
That's
dang,
for all
ding.
you dads out there.
I like that, Tom. That was good.
That was a good pun, right?
Don't drop the ball.
You can push me off a cliff anytime.
No cliffs around.
We'll jump together, Tom. It'll be fantastic.
You and me, family bonding.
Yeah.
With arms wide open.
You have a heart attack before you hit the ground, so it's all right.
You're going to sing that song. I'm going to repeat in my head like some kind of sick nightmare about my terrible Bolshevik joke.
My sheep.
Yeah, the sheep, the back to the...
Ball with the ball, the bang, the
bang,
dang,
the
the
bang.
splat.
It's some kind of... synonym of sorts of the stories. I'm looking at one word and it's another, and I don't understand. The wolf, the sheep. Kill me.
Oh, I think you meant ball with the
Kill
ball.
me. That's what my inner monologue sounds like. It's rubbish. Kill me.
Murder
So
me now.
in the years following the disastrous assembly, Petrograd basically devolved into the set of Escape from New York.
Oh,
If you haven't seen that movie,
That's a
Kurt
dope-ass
Russell was
movie,
there?
Yeah.
yeah, Kurt Russell was there. Donald Pleasance as the president.
Love
Great movie.
What a
I
guy.
watched that
That
later
guy
than
that has the
actually.
Cadillac with the two chandeliers on the front.
Oh, that shit was gangster.
Wait,
as
is it
fuck.
Escape from New York or Escape from L.A. where he hits the backward trick shot with the basketball trick shot?
Oh,
I
I
think
think
it's
that was
LA.
Escape from L.A.
Yeah.
That was where he chased Steve Buscemi on a surfboard while he was driving.
Is LA is like not as serious, right?
Yeah, it's way
Like,
more
LA
of just
was
like a
kinda
true
serious.
comedy. Like,
Yeah.
let's make.
But
it fun.
anyway, so Petrograd is like basically just a prison, and people are robbing, murdering, and raping in the streets.
Vibes.
So Lenin thought it was a good idea to issue a new decree. He loves these decrees. This one was called the Socialist Fatherland in Danger Decree. I'm surprised he didn't turn that into like the SFR or something. Basically, this allowed the Red Guard to, quote, shoot on spot enemy agents, profiteers, marauders, hooligans, and counter-revolutionary agitators.
hooligans.
Yeah,
Are marauders
hooligans.
like to hang out? Just people just like to hang out at night. They call a marauder. That?
Actually, I don't know how to describe like an actual. I thought it was a robber.
I thought it was just someone that hangs out at night.
There's that Tribe Called Quest song where it defines what marauders are.
That's the Midnight Marauders.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're just
Someone-
vibing. They're just vibing.
I don't know. Find that song.
They're just hanging out.
Like you find the song, I'm gonna look it up on the.
They're just hanging out
dictionary.
on a stoop listening to music. That's what it's all
Yeah, no,
about.
but they like it's like people on the prowl for something.
Oh, I
Because in the
guess.
song, it's like we're the marauders. Like this is what marauders means, and then they. It's like a chick robot
got the
voice.
jazz.
This is a
We
bad
got the
tangent to
jazz.
go.
They
down.
were looking
No,
for the
it's
Tribe
fine.
Called Quest.
I got one. The definition: a person who marauds. It's a
Yay,
raider.
Webster!
A raider.
Good job.
I'm not getting a copyright strike.
We're not listening to the
I'm
marauders.
listening to some Tribe right now. Sorry, Travis.
So World War I was still raging, in Russia, while Russia was this Mad Max world. This is when, they're in these peace treaties that are being delayed, right? Eventually, the peace treaty was signed, but Lenin was not confident that the Germans wouldn't break this peace treaty. So he was like, fuck Petrograd. We're going to move the capital to Moscow. Oh. Yeah. Which was further away from the Germans. He's like, well, maybe they'll reach Petrograd, but I'm going to get Moscow.
I also, we didn't get to mention this. I love that they renamed the city Petrograd because St. Petersburg was too German. And they're like, ooh.
Really?
Yeah.
That's why?
You can't have any of that right now.
Oh, I had no idea.
So, like, I renamed a bunch of cities that were Berg to Grad.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they renamed them again to, like, leaders of the...
Yeah,
like
I think that it becomes Leningrad.
Leningrad, Stalingrad, yeah.
Yeah, I knew about the name thing. I didn't know where that came from.
Yeah.
So, by 1918, most Russians at this point were starving from a famine. It was not socialism that killed them. This was a mixture of just a natural famine. Well, maybe not natural. I think the famine was probably from all the poison gas war ordnance being exploded. All the
Wait,
death and
hold on 1
destruction.
second. Let's just say it was because of socialism.
No, that one comes later.
That's later.
That
yeah.
is later.
The true socialism famine.
I thought
comes
Travis
later.
was trying to get a squeaky one in on us. I'm like,
No,
I don't
no,
think
no,
so.
We can talk about the Homelador when we do Stalin.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't worry, Tom. We'll get there.
I'll
Yeah.
shut my mouth.
And let me tell you, Lenin does not help this starving point with his socialism.
Okay.
So it also did not help that Lenin was running the Cheka and these death squads that were forcing farmers out of their homes or retaking some lands. But there was a legit famine, and I do think it was probably just because, I don't know, we dropped what it was like billions and billions of tons of explosives in France, and, you know, that shit was probably all in the air, you know, like. Now, remember when I said Lenin's favorite book was Uncle Tom's Cabin? Yeah. Still raving about that. So he decided to pull a little trick right from the slavers of the American South. He was like, dude, we need to arbitrarily divide the poor, because now that we have this like big swath of poor people, there has to be some conflict going on. So Lenin decided to invent a new class. It's like, guess what, guys? Season 2, new class of people. This one was called the Kolkas. Like cold cuts.
With the cold cuts?
Cold cuts.
And I'm assuming
Yeah.
this was easier than putting 1/7 of that population in blackface all the time?
Yeah, way easier.
Okay.
This was basically way easier
Not that
and
much shoe polish.
way easier and conveniently way more harder to tell, because he basically was like, this class is just basically rich peasants that are hoarding food and starving the rest of Russia. So he's like, you're all peasants, but there's some guys that are fucking hoarding shit. You got to find them. So Lenin started what he called the Battle for Grain campaign.
This sounds like the war on drugs.
Yeah. Really?
Except drugs is like Kellogg's cereal. Now, basically, all that the war on grain was again going around telling peasants to like basically kill their neighbors, and also telling the Cheka and the Red Guard to strip certain peasants of all of their shit. Now, this is just so fucked, because this is land that for the first time in like almost like, I'm going to say close to like a millennia, that these people like own land. and now you have their government murdering them. It's like, okay, you have been peasant for almost 1,000, 2,000 years. Here's your land. Oh, you took too much food. You're going to die.
That's odd.
Yeah.
It's
little bit.
kind of funny how life works like that.
It is weird how life works like that. You and your family going through struggles for 2,000 years, and one day you got a little plot of land to bury a few carrots in, and all of a sudden,
Nope.
it's not yours.
Once
Not yours anymore.
your problems get
We-
fixed, more problems arise. Never
That's
forget
true.
that, people.
We
Yeah,
planted the
let's
sunflowers there because they were pretty. We didn't know they made something you could eat. Who likes sunflower seeds? They're gross. You got to spit half
I
of
can
them
never
out.
figure out how to eat those fucking
I
things.
I don't know. I think it's big seed. They've been telling us it looks cool. But
Yeah.
I think collectively, no one actually likes sunflower seeds.
And no one actually likes Big League Chew either. That's just shitty bubblegum. Well, think about that poor peasant that planted the sunflower seeds, and then the Bolsheviks show up and they're like, that has food on it. You've been hoarding.
Whenever I think of that peasant, I think of the term "you dead to me."
You're fucking dead.
So in this process, at least 3,700 people were killed in the first year of food in this grain war, but probably more. That's just what we know. I mean, these numbers are all fudged. I mean, if there was a real number, it may have just been destroyed when Stalin took over. But entire villages were burnt down when they did not just let the Red Guard take their shit. So at this point, other left-wing parties, or what was left of them, they're not really even parties. We're at like a one-state system at this point, but there's still groups out there like the Mensheviks and the SR. They started to hit back. So there was a bunch of assassination attempts on high-ranking members of the Bolshevik Party, and Trotsky cranked up the Cheka and started to execute these left-wing groups. So now they weren't even just executing the right, they were executing the left.
Paranoia, baby.
So now, the big moment here. We know something really bad happened with Lenin. DreamWorks was like, fuck it, we're going to make a fucking movie about these shitty people. The shitty people that were led down to a basement and executed. We're talking about the execution of the Romanovs. Yeah. So
It's not that bad.
yeah.
You just described millions of people dying earlier in the episode. Who do I care if 12 more people die?
That's what the Bolsheviks. That was their kind of view on it.
Maybe I'm a
Yeah,
Bolshevik.
Yeah.
Maybe
What's 5 more?
Yeah, come on.
Right.
Who cares? One of them's a little girl. She's going to write a story about herself when she gets fake killed.
Yeah.
I'm fucking starving over here.
She's friends with a bat or something.
There are
Right?
rumors
movie?
that they're wearing so
Oh,
many jewels on their person that like the gunshots didn't kill them initially because it was like almost bulletproof glass with how many diamonds they had.
It pays to be rich.
Yeah,
Right. So there's
that might be
extremely
apocryphal, but
yeah there's extremely grisly accounts of this murder in the basement. And I'm gonna kind of save most of them. We can talk about the jewels and all that shit for a Romanov
What's the most
episode.
gruesome one?
Well, they
Well,
were
they're
all
all
shot to
together.
death in the
It's the
basement.
same time.
yeah.
If you
There's
get into
details
one-
of it that are
In the
yeah.
basement? Maybe did they take me out to the field or something? The nature?
No.
Remember, you're in a basement right now.
Yeah,
Shit
Mike.
could go down.
Well, if I'm dead, I don't know if I'm dead or not. So
You guys got to watch out for Connor because you guys are like both like by blood related. So
Right.
you got to take out like
that's why I got these guns.
yeah.
You're looking pretty strong. You lifting more at the library?
No,
see this time?
Dude, I feel like
Yes,
I feel like librarians may have lost some muscle after they got rid of like all the Britannica books, or do they still have them? Like the huge.
they just don't move. They just sit in
they
the
don't
same
move.
spot.
They just sit there. No one's taking that
Although
shit
one
out.
of our one is another tangent. One of our pages, who are like the high school kids that come in and work for us, he had to move all the oversized books today.
Nice.
Bitch.
And it was my idea, but he had to like move them all from one spot around the corner to another. So he got a good arm workout in.
Good.
There
I
you
watched.
go.
I was just like, good job.
Was he up to the
job.
task, or was he?
Yeah, he did well.
He did well?
Yeah.
Good on him.
So there's been a bunch of wild speculation on whether or not Lenin ordered these executions. All we can say is that there's no paper trail that links Lenin to the executions. If there was, it may have been destroyed.
The good old
And
days.
your reaction, Tom, was like, who cares? The Bolshevik leadership was just like shrugged it off when the Romanovs were wiped out. They were like, oh, okay, that's cool.
I have never once, I remember when I heard about JFK being shot. I didn't care.
But I mean,
What about when
when
Lincoln
the-
was killed?
It didn't even bat an eye.
I care about his wife. Like John F. Kennedy's wife. She got on the back of the car. I was like, holy fuck. She's about to jump out of that shit.
She married rich.
yeah,
She-
when
she
these
She married
married
a
a-
bad luck. I'll
She-
tell you that.
No. After
Bad
that,
luck.
she married a guy who owned half of Greece and
Bad
lived the
luck,
rest,
though.
rest of her life going, I better make.
Oh, my kids are dead.
Oh,
I'm still rich, though.
he fell out of the sky. Like the bullet that killed my husband.
So, but I mean, this was like a serious hit to the Soviet Union when this was like released to the public because they just had another reason to not like them.
I'm out the vodka. I mean bullets.
Did they give
So
him
you
back
know
the
who-
vodka, actually?
I think they did.
Okay.
I'm guessing that it was rationed. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if they had any,
It's not enough. I mean, have you met Dimitrov?
dude,
The guy-
Russians love their vodka. I'm just telling you. Every Russian I've actually met is just like, how do you drink that much?
Booze hounds.
I want to write in Russian. It looks so hard though.
Cyrillic? Dude,
Cyrillic.
You could do it.
Skrillex. You
My
can write in
sister
Skrillex.
able
You gotta
to
listen
do
to dubstep.
Wah 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 wah. Dubstep should be illegal.
So you know
saying.
who did
Fucking
take a
terrible.
bullet?
Who?
Also, you know who also did take a bullet? Lenin.
What? Purple heart.
Yes.
In his ass?
Ooh.
His brain.
He probably would have been lucky if he got it in his heart. That's right. 1 year later. What? That's right. 1 year after the revolution. 1 year on the job, a woman named Franny Kaplan shot Lenin twice during a speech at a factory. One of the bullets went right through his left shoulder. The other one went through his lung, up into his neck, just dodging his artery there.
Holy shit.
And lodged into his clavicle bone right next to his spine.
Oh, shit.
Dang.
Now, because it was so close to the spine, the surgeons were like, we're just going to leave that piece of lead right in you.
We're
not
Russian
taking that
hack
out."
surgeons. We don't think we should touch this one.
Yeah, you've given us the tools of like radish and old T-shirt. I'm not taking that bullet out of your spine.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. I couldn't imagine back then the surgery for that shit.
Yeah, right? This is what, 1919 now? So he's,
Let's dig that shit out.
yeah,
Ugh.
suck it out like this.
Get some leeches on your back. And
I'm sorry, Mr. Lenin. You're going to have to deal with some mild discomfort for the rest of your life.
After this assassination happened, we entered the period of the complete Red Terror kicked into effect. The Cheka, in the next 2 months, murdered over 6,000 people.
vibes.
There's actually this one story about... What's up?
Nothing. Continue. Mike just says vibes.
It's depressing. You're kind of lighten the mood.
Are you listening? Did you lose
Depressing vibes.
He just said, "Oh, 6,000 people are murdered." I'm vibes. I don't know.
Well, there were vibes, I suppose.
That was a vibe for them back then. Let's
That was
fucking
a vibe.
kill
Mike
people.
is
Let's go fucking murder people.
Mike is actually just a soundboard that we set up, and
I'm not even
Tom
here right now.
misclicks.
Yeah.
Vibes.
Mike is just a hat on top of my no longer working Dyson vacuum.
It's weekend at Bernie's over here. The lights
So-
are off, but no one's home. Well, that's wrong.
Wait,
how I said that.
So all lights are off, but no one's home.
Exactly how I said it.
So
too.
I'll
keep with that
I'll lighten
statement.
the mood a little bit with. I'll lighten the mood. You
the
know
Red Terror?
who loves this? Yeah, who loves cabaret?
The fuck is that?
Come on.
It's titties.
Who loves
Cabaret.
the circus?
I could live with that.
Well, you combine those two, and you have two off-duty Cheka officers going to a cabaret/circus club. They went to go see the famous Russian clown combo Bim and Bomb. Oh yeah, that sounds very
bombs.
fun.
I am thrilled. In fact, if I wasn't so tired at the moment, I'd go grab my kazoo. And
Is this where they fuck a
Bim-
donkey?
Bim and Bomb. Wow, classic. Yeah, it's a donkey show.
Ah, that's hot.
Yeah, so we are going to Bim and Bomb tonight. So these two Cheka officers started to heckle the clowns because they were wasted. You know, that's what you do with clowns. You got to abuse them as much as possible.
Of course.
And they started calling them counter-revolutionaries. And everyone in the crowd's like having a fun. They don't know they're Cheka. And they're like, these clowns, counter-revolutionaries. And they think this is all part of the act. And then one of the Cheka walks up on stage, pulls out his gun, holds it up to Bomb's head, and blows his brains out on stage.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Savage.
Those people got the rules.
But like up
worse.
until this point, everyone's like, "Oh, so funny! Bomb is going to get killed like the Tsar."
Man, I'd rather be Roy with a tiger
Oh my
than
god,
a
right?
clown over there.
I'm going to go home and jerk off now.
Which one? He got bomb, you said?
He got bombed.
So Bim is just solo. Bim solo.
Yeah, just Bim solo
He's a
act. dude.
sad
Oh.
clown.
What a show that must have been to clean up.
Yeah,
It was,
well,
it was probably just hula hooping.
No, so Bim afterwards actually moved to Italy, changed his name to Pagliacci, and became a sad clown and had to go see doctors about it.
Okay,
Oh,
fair enough.
that's where
I
you
was
get
going
the
to say
clown
that Bim
tears.
is actually Carrot Top's great grandfather.
Yeah, there is something very sad about his genetics.
So now I mentioned this last episode, or I alluded to it. You know, I mentioned that Lenin was a sickly kid. I mean, you just look at him; he doesn't look like a very healthy person. I remember I said he was biking. If you're a cyclist, you're not a healthy person. You're trying to cover up something.
You're trying to show everyone, look, I can still do it.
I don't mean to make cancer jokes, but I feel like every person that's a hardcore cyclist gets cancer.
Well,
that
because
I've known.
I think
They're
is
sucking
a
in
testicle
exhaust and
Well,
testicle
it's very uncomfortable
friction.
to sit down on a bike.
thing.
Yeah.
Bicycles are not made for men. They're made for women and to be in parks that are gated off, not for the road.
So Lenin was a very sickly man. Obviously, not just in his head, but actually in his head as well. So, because that's where a lot of his problems had. He had terrible migraines. He was extremely high strung. He was notorious insomniac. He only slept a couple hours a night. He didn't really eat too much. Like he just was a skinny boy. Now these ailments amplified now that he was a dictator because he had less time to
Hang out,
chill,
fucking write some propaganda.
and
This
he had
poor
and he had,
dictator.
and he had a bullet lodged in his neck. So one of the things Lenin loved to do before the revolution was to have his mommy sponsor basically sandals resorts for him in the woods. And now that he had endless amounts of money, he was like, fuck it, I need to go on a vacation. I was just shot. Nadia and I need to get out of Moscow. And, so they acquired a private cabin / mansion in Gorky, which is some area out in the woods, complete with its own cook. And the cook would be none other than Vladimir Putin's grandfather, Spiridon Putin.
What?
Yep.
That's crazy.
Damn.
Wow.
So,
I think it goes to show how far you can get with just like sucking the right dude's dick.
That's true. You can go far.
Yeah.
or how well you cook eggs.
Well, I mean, obviously that's not like a coincidence. Like, you know, you get in a position like that, and then the kid gets in. You know, his kid gets in. I don't know. It just seems.
Yeah, but I think it was probably how good that this Spiridon cooked eggs.
He
dude.
just
He's like,
put eggs in a vodka.
yeah, and put it up his butt, and then like I don't know. Lenin was not a very sexual man, but I'm sure he liked to watch men
he
shoot
wasn't
eggs out of
sexual
his
because
butt.
he was a trad boy and he married a fish.
You married a fishwoman.
So, like, also,
Yeah.
could you imagine that conversation that they had? Like, first night he's in power, and she's like, "So now that you're in, do I get a role? My first lady of the red state? Do I get something?" He's like, "Well, frankly, you're too ugly, bitch. I can't have you on flags."
You're the side hoe, bitch.
Yeah, you're not getting a Susan B. Anthony coin, you asshole.
Oh
Fucking
God.
ding dong.
But actually, one thing that I will say about Lenin is that he did have this one mansion, but and maybe Nadia was kind of pissed about this because they did not live lavishly. A lot of the Bolsheviks did. A lot of the Bolsheviks moved into like these mansions that the royalists owned, but Lenin and Nadia lived in like an apartment, and his office in the Winter Palace like basically just had nothing in the room. Like he stripped it of all the shit and just had a picture of Marx on the wall and a clock.
Well, he's a weirdo incel, so it makes sense.
Yeah,
Like, this
yeah.
like-
tracks.
I'm going to clean my room, and then I'm going to frame a picture of Jordan Peterson and just put it right here.
Yeah. And
I'm
that's
going to
all
get
I
my
need.
life together. I'm going to find a wife.
The mattress is on the floor.
Yep. Facing him, made every day.
So I realized that I forgot something this whole time. During this famine, the mass murder, and all the authoritarianism, there's actually a civil war going on in Russia.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah.
A big one.
So yeah, pretty much right off the bat, after the October Revolution. It's called. It was fought between the Red and White armies. You guys hear about that?
No.
What's
The
the,
Reds
White
and the
Army?
Whites. The Royalists.
Oh, Royalists. Oh.
Royalists. So the reason why I didn't mention this all along is because Lenin never really bothered doing anything about it. He never visited the fronts. He never gave rallying speeches to the troops. He was pretty much like, Trotsky, you go deal with the Civil War. Putin's cooking up some of my favorite pickled herring and in a bed of month-old beets, my favorite.
So Trotsky was actively getting involved with the war?
Trotsky, by the way, had absolutely no military experience.
Of course, he's Jewish.
Well, yes, but he was the leader of this civil war between the Royalists, the Whites, and the Reds, the Communists. So I wanted to save this kind of red versus white revolution, just because this episode's going to be long. I'm not finished. I wanted to save it for a Trotsky episode because he's the one that's really out there fighting this war. The only thing I will say about it, the war, besides the fact that, you know, mainly Trotsky was leading it, was that the Western powers like the U.S. and Britain were secretly funding, or openly funding in some cases, the White Army. Churchill famously said this about Bolshevism, that it should have been strangled in the cradle.
Okay.
Just fucking
Pretty
get that
clear.
baby.
Well, good thing it's not a real baby.
That's true.
It's just 8 million babies.
So, yeah, we'll save the details of the Civil War. Stay tuned for a Trotsky episode when we go over that. But the Civil War ended in around 1920, sort of. There was still lingering issues that would continue over the next few decades, actually. But for all intents and purposes, Lenin was officially the Red Tsar. Now, Lenin's new goal was to spread communism. It's even in the Marx thing. Like, you have to spread communism. I mean, Marx wrote you had to educate the people, which Lenin was not about doing. He just wanted to spread it to as many powers through propaganda as he could.
Cool.
So if there wasn't enough bloodshed going on in Russia, Lenin was like, you know what? You know what's a very popular power right now? Sorry. Lenin was like, he turned to his Bolsheviks and he's like, you know what's a really popular place right now? I know we just gave it back to them and then Germany took it. And now that Germany lost it, they have independence again. But let's just invade Poland. They're ready for revolution.
History says that those people love taking an invasion.
Yeah, they love
Pretty
it.
Poland's
frequently.
love and getting invaded.
They're sluts.
I got some good swords
Famously.
over there.
God bless the Polish people.
Yeah, they just love a good old-fashioned invasion. It's like a pastime for them. Both Trotsky and Stalin had climbed the ladder from just this
From train
goon.
robber to
Yeah. So both Trotsky and Lenin, both were like, Lenin, you're a fucking idiot. Don't invade Poland. Like we've got enough shit going on. You have a civil war that's still kind of going on. Your people are starving. Just leave it alone. Lenin's like, come on, guys. I think I'm gonna, I'm gonna do it. Get your asses to Poland.
All right, must be the bullet. We get it.
So it turned out that this was a absolutely terrible idea. The initial push from the Red Army worked for a bit. They pushed towards Warsaw, and then the Polish regrouped, and in the autumn of 1920, the Red Army lost 30,000, and 20,000 were wounded, and they had to retreat back over the border.
It's more food for the rest of them.
yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was one of his ways that he tried to spread communism, not so successful. The other way was publishing pro-communist papers abroad. Lenin actually spent more money on flyers going to the U.S., Austria, Holland, Greece, and a handful of other countries than he spent on relief to the famine in Russia.
Sounds about
Gotta
right.
gotta send them junk mail,
Priorities.
you know?
Get that junk mail out.
Sounds like your typical charity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're saving starving kids.
Can you
Well, we're
believe
gonna
the amount of
send you
junk
things.
mail you get that has like charity shit on it? It's just like like packets, like college packets of shit. Just like we're saving trees here, guy. What the fuck are you on?
We
you
sent
idiots?
10,000 of these plastic paper things out, though.
Yeah, we got loads of them. Do you need extra? These people are really out of their minds with these charities sending this shit out, thinking that works.
My husband is dead. I only want sex. With everyone.
All right, so moving right along. At the start of the 1920s, Lenin would ban other socialist groups like the Mensheviks. The famine got even worse, to the point that there were reports of cannibalism going on in the Russian countryside. Lenin fixed the problem by simply banning the press and reporting about famine.
What else we got to talk about then?
Yeah, no one's eating each other.
Yeah, you're not as hungry.
Yeah.
Are you guys?
About it.
Good point.
Are you young and reporters talking about eating ass? I don't think they're actually eating someone's ass.
I ban any talk of ass eating.
I'm leaving.
So then there were a bunch of rebellions because everyone's starving in 1921, and Lenin decided, fuck it, I'm going to use the same gas that that the Germans mainly used in World War I on our own people. So chlorine gas and mustard gas were deployed on his own populace.
Wow, that's how you keep them in line, really.
That's vibes.
With people starving and rebelling, Lenin thought that it was a good time to go after the remaining remnants of the church in Russia. And this would mainly be the Eastern Orthodox flavor of boy touching.
I think back, they were so orthodox, they only fucked girls.
Yeah.
That's true. I always get a kick out of their baptism. Have you seen the baptisms they
it's
do
like
with the baby? Like, poof, poof.
It looks like they're trying to drown it.
They kind of are. They're like, it's not good here. If this goes south, you'll thank me in heaven.
Whoopsies.
So more than 30 bishops and 1,200 priests were killed in this attack on the church, and thousands more were imprisoned or exiled to Siberia. So Lenin, at the height of his authoritarian power, the places he could take Russia, it was going to be really the best place in the world. We've seen it. It's great. But on May 26, 1922, Lenin started to violently hurl at his sister's house. Probably some bad borscht.
Bad borscht, bad caviar.
Just kidding. He had a massive stroke.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, dude. That's right.
How old is he?
Soviet leaders and their strokes.
Big on it.
How old is he?
Travis? Yeah. At this point.
He's 52.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. Pretty young.
So he's kind
My
of
dad was
useless
that
now.
age.
Because that's what strokes did to you back then.
Well, yeah. So this was a man.
Yeah, that's true.
This was a man that was all right, no walk, and now he could neither write nor walk. So,
I think you're going to say, all right, like the left side of his body gave out.
Yeah,
that was the joke.
that would be good. You botched it, Travis.
All you could have done, he was all left. And now
All
he
left.
now he couldn't use either side.
There, he's all right.
Oh, well.
So this is the most important guy in Russia at the moment. So you would think that, he'd have like the hottest, most bombshell nurses, or those Russian girls that like dress up in like
Oh, yeah.
semi-military stuff, and they're like, "Oh, look at my Kalashnikov." No, he decided that his nurse was going to be Joseph Stalin.
Yeah.
Big hairy mustache man.
Joey Steelman.
Yeah, Joey Steele.
I mean, you said he wasn't sexual. He had a fish for a wife. He's not trying to plow. He doesn't want to get aroused. He just wants to talk to a guy.
A guy with a big stash that robs trains.
Yeah.
I mean, how
He
did
probably
this
had good
180
stories.
happen? It went from
What?
"don't let that cretin write about me" to "you're all right. I want you to be my nurse. I want you to sponge me." That's what happened.
So there was a bunch of speculation that Stalin may have actually poisoned Lenin. There's little evidence to that, but
Wouldn't put it past him.
given Stalin's record or upcoming record, and You know, maybe
Good KD.
Maybe the
great
highest
KD.
in world history.
Yeah,
I think he beat Hitler, right?
It depends who's. There's a lot that you can say
true.
chalk up to both of them. So
yeah.
Terrible people. Continue.
You
Travis.
don't want Mike. You don't want to come across him in Counter Strike, dude. He's wicked with a knife.
Oh, he's got the one taps.
So on that same year, December 13th, wham bam, Lenin gets 2 more strokes.
Oh.
So now he's like actually fucked. He actually gets a stenographer to basically dictate what he's doing. And this is a funny little anecdote. He couldn't stand the sight of her or like the way she was typing or like chewing her gum or something. So he set up this system where she would be in one room and he'd be in another with a phone. Like
Well, he would just be
adjacent
moaning
room.
and stuff. His speech,
Yeah.
his speech patterns had to be totally ruined. I mean, he probably sounded like us.
Yeah.
Stupid. You know, bad.
So he gets this stenographer to write a letter to Stalin basically saying, come see me, Mr. Nurse Man, hot nurse mustachio, and please kill me because it's the, quote, humanitarian gesture.
I think Stalin wrote this letter.
Well, the thing was, Stalin loved killing and would have happily choked out an invalid,
Coat rack.
Coat rack, the leader of the Soviet Union. But, killing the leader of the Soviet Union was probably not the best look, So he's not number 2 yet. Now, Lenin, over this course of time where Stalin was his hot nurse, he saw what he used to call the, quote, wonderful Georgian was now starting to be a monster, even worse than himself. And I do believe from doing the research that Lenin really wanted to do good, but he was too, like, Aspergery and Marxist economic theory, and ended up creating evil.
He's evil
dreamer.
through ignorance. Like,
Yeah.
best of intentions, but I mean, we all know people like that. People who just
Yeah.
don't get the fucking picture.
yeah,
And they're a nuisance, and they might be helpful in some ways, but then they're very dangerous behind the wheel of a car.
Yeah. So when he started to realize that Stalin was the ultimate evil creation of his, and he actually got his stenographer to write to Trotsky, urging him to deal with the, quote, Georgian affair. Once we get into to Trotsky, we'll find out that didn't end up too well. So now, remember I told you used to have these migraines?
Yeah.
Apparently, Lenin suffered from sclerosis of the blood vessels in his big old dome. So the vessels were so calcified that doctors were able to tap on them with a tweezer, and it sounded like they were hitting a stone.
shit.
Knock, knock, knock.
Wait, his head? What the hell were they? Were hidden?
Now, Lenin with his hard...
His actual skull? They were hidden his skull?
Well, you know how when you look at a
No,
bald
your
person that
old,
works
like
at...
veiny, like the veins
Yeah.
going through the.
Oh, they were that hard? Oh, shit.
Yeah, when you look at like a bald person that
Yeah,
works
yeah.
out too much and they have
Like
like
Terry
the penis
Crews?
head. Yeah, like the penis head veins.
Yeah.
Those are all hard.
They're not supposed to be?
Not like a stone,
No.
dude.
I
You
always
got to be
thought
able to
Terry
squish
Crews'
them a
head
little
was,
bit.
like fucking bulletproof or something.
No, I'm talking about just the vein.
Oh, just the vein.
Like, when you have a vein popping up, you can push it, and it's not.
Mine are rock
calcified.
hard.
McDonald's.
Cut back on taquitos.
Yeah, Mike,
I had Dairy Queen today.
we're gonna have to change your diet.
Cut back on that too.
I mean, I'm trying for a while.
You're not really trying.
Not trying.
I was, and then this girl ruined me.
Can of soup.
I was seeing it. I wanted to see a health nutritionist, and she decided I was a loser.
So then now you're like
Continue,
giving up on
Travis.
health.
We'll talk later.
So Lenin, with his hard head, could not take it anymore. We don't know exactly what his last words were, but one of them could have been "good dog." He was playing with his golden retriever, and then he went and had vegetable broth soup, and when the nurses came back, he slipped away on January 21st, 1924.
Who let the dogs out?
Yeah, he was listening to the
Vibes,
Venga
Mike.
Boys.
I'm picking up.
That's
on your-
Russian vibes right there.
That's some vibes.
Baha Men,
Men, yeah, they were KGB sleeper agents.
as red as it gets, motherfucker.
I never realized that song they were talking about women.
Yeah, come on, Travis. I knew that in like 5th grade.
They're talking about ugly women.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought they were talking about actual
Yippee-yi-yo.
dogs. Well, before we close him out, this two-parter, we have to discuss the big elephant in the room and the fact that Lenin is still around. You can go hang out with him if you go to Red Square. You know, this bitch just laying around being lazy and shit.
He's a saint.
I gotta look that up in Google now.
If you slip Putin a few rubles, he lets you touch his nose.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Give
you just
him a
get one
kiss.
poke.
Apparently, there's been a few instances of people trying to like fuck with his body. Not many, but the last one I think was in 2014, where some guy like threw toilet paper on his coffin.
Not toilet paper.
Yeah.
Are they trying to fuck with his body, or are they trying to fuck his
He's still
body?
there?
Well,
Wow, Connor going hard.
I mean, they get into some weird shit. So
They do.
So the big issue with the fact that they like embalmed
Mike's
him and
looking
like,
at him.
That is fucking weird.
yeah, right. That's him, dude.
I mean, I hope people like me enough to do that to me when I'm
I'll do
dead.
that to you.
Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll make you a coffee table.
You put me
Well,
in
see,
put me in a cool place. Like, put me somewhere
See,
like random
A
as fuck.
coffee table.
Oh, that'd be sick.
Tom's center like living room.
It's my cousin Mike. I'm
See,
150, by the way.
Coasters, please.
Mike gave you consent, but here's the big issue with the fact that Lenin was laying in state like this, was that Nadia and the rest of Lenin's family and Trotsky were like, this is the last fucking thing that Lenin would want done to his body, to be like embalmed and like put on display like this medieval relic. I mean, as I mentioned, this guy like lived a very Spartan lifestyle. You know, he didn't decorate. He wasn't flashy. He had a terrible sense of fashion. Like a lot of Bolsheviks went fucking crazy elaborate, you know, and in the end, these people were like, this is not what he was trying to preach, and it's completely lost the plot. But Stalin, who was a big one that pushed the embalmment, because Stalin wanted to create the cult of Lenin, right? And help solidify the fact that Stalin was the great successor.
Yeah.
And he really shaped Lenin's, like what you were saying, Mike, before. You're like, I thought the revolution was like crazy and big, and he was all part of all these things. This was all Stalin's plan, like embalming him and all this shit. But it wasn't really Lenin,
His
the
ideas.
person. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Lenin.
Well,
Wow.
communism looks good on paper.
Yeah, it looks
Thanks,
good in
Travis.
the bed. It's got herpes, though.
It's true. Wear a Jimmy.
Personally, I don't think the USSR was ever communist.
Yeah, they really weren't.
You ever seen Rocky 4, Travis? Or the Rocky
Oh,
3?
that's the one with the big old. wait,
Rocky
was that where
4
Four,
is the
right.
one? Yeah.
You ever
Rocky
seen-
4 is the one where the robot sings "Happy Birthday" to him in the beginning?
I will break you.
Yeah, I just think of that dude, the Russian dude.
Yeah, the
If he
Russian guy.
dies, he dies.
If
I want
he
my kid to look
dies.
like him.
Dolph Lundgren.
You gotta.
Yeah, if my kid doesn't look like him, I'm fucking bringing him back.
You should try looking like him.
You should. You could look like Dolph Lundgren. If
You should come to
fucking
the gym.
Go to the gym.
hit the HGH.
Come to the gym with me.
Can you take me to the gym? Where you go? YMCA?
I'll go wherever you want to go.
I'll go anywhere that's not like LA Fitness.
Start taking a fucking ton of HGH, and you'll look like Dolph Lundgren.
That's the one I'm signing up for.
steroids.
LA Fitness.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go there because I'm just really tired of being surrounded by men at the locker room at Planet Fitness.
What do you? What you don't like it? You don't like
What, you don't
fucking-
like it?
I'm uncomfortable.
Your LA Fitness gonna have some fat slob like, hey, my wife paid for the subscription, but fuck it, I'm him.
Well, that's better than the other stuff. that
What
I've been
muscular
doing.
dudes with their cocks out?
No, look, my
Holding it
problem.
out like a rifle?
This is a way tangent for the end of this. Let's talk about our fitness afterwards.
For the end of the episode, we're just gonna all look like Cossacks soon. We're gonna be fucking strong horse boys.
I wanna- that'd be dope.
Big, tall, furry
Look,
hats.
That is good. I would like to propose a toast to Lenin. You tried, you failed by
Your
some standards.
weird little incel past that I never knew about. That was the most informative part.
Yeah, part one was better
people-
than part two. Sucks for you, listener. You made it all the way through this one as well.
Sucker.
Well, you know, I feel like with this episode, it's mainly a layup for what's to come. So stay tuned.
Oh,
We're
next
gonna be
week,
doing
baby.
No, not next week. Not next week.
Yeah, boy.
We're getting out of Russia. We're getting out of Russia. Oh, next week is Mike's big
Yeah, we're
week.
going to Atlanta next week.
Hot Atlanta.
Yeah,
Hot
right.
Atlanta.
Family time.
Speaking of Georgia,
Yeah.
Real Georgia man.
Yeah, the real Georgia. That's where
Real Georgia.
That's where my heart is.
No, but stay tuned, and we will eventually get to Trotsky, Romanovs, Stalin, all these fucking guys. Never Hitler. We're never going to roast Hitler.
We're never
ever.
doing Hitler. You know he's
No.
bad. Not that many Nazis.
Well, I like doing Nazis every once in a while.
done Mangala?
No, we haven't done.
No, we should do
Mangala
him.
would be a good one.
We have
Yeah.
done no high profile. We've done plenty of racists, but
Yeah.
we haven't
No
done
high-profile
Nazis.
Heinrich, whatever his name is. Heinrich?
Heimlich maneuver?
Himmler.
Himmler is the
Himmler.
one you're thinking of.
Well, we did roast the Sea Monkeys guy who was a Nazi, but he was a Jewish Nazi.
He was fun, and he was in the States.
What about Hugo Boss?
That'd
I've
be
done
another
him
good
yet.
one.
Wow. Okay. Well, right now we're here to close out Lenin, and you're here. You made it this far. If you like the content, go to patreon.com/roastmortemcast. Support the show. It's great. We're trying to make Mike not work anymore.
No, please.
Not to say we're going to give him any Patreon money.
Give
but
Mike money
It'll give
so
us
he doesn't
ideas.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike, do you think you can get by on $150 a month?
No.
Glad
Fortunately.
you thought about
Right
it.
answer.
I mean, I could. If I have to pay like rent and all that bullshit, I could probably make $150.
You mean
worth.
utilities?
Yeah,
If
utilities.
everyone
like
covered
garbage.
all my bills, I
Yeah.
could definitely make it by on $150 a month.
All right, help cover Mike's bills at roastmortemcast.com.
Please.
Mike gets all the money. Hey, thanks for the research,
I haven't
Travis.
gotten a hat
Yeah,
yet.
no, thank you.
And-
Mike, I'm very excited for next episode.
Yeah,
I love
can't
the
wait.
hard dicks you pull out.
Well, you know how intelligent I am, how intense I am in my research abilities, and
Just continue droning out for the next, I'm going to fade out.
then
Do it.
you know, it all started when I was young, and my dad really didn't pay attention enough, and then I started doing other things.